All right, come on. This is the Levels Network.
I'll leave that in.
I didn't know I was going to get to say that. I thought it was Grubs. This is the Levels Network. I'm a triple OG, Willie Mason, Big Willie Mason, joined to you by Josh Reynolds. I've always wanted to say that. I didn't know I had to say that. We are missing our man, Skipper Scope. He's in Bali at, whose wedding is that? Whose wedding?
He's at Corey Norman's wedding.
Corey Norman's wedding. So well done, Corey Norman. Hoz is over there, got a good gang over there. So I said I would run shit, and we've got Josh Reynolds in here to help me. So we've got Lukey on the wheels over there. So should run very smoothly. It should be pretty cool. But we're gonna miss Hoz. I think Hoz does most of the shows. Yeah. And if I'm missing, he'll still run it. So Grubby's here to help. We're all just gonna pretty much stick in. I'm not gonna run the whole ship. We've got all this fucking information here. If you know the show, that's never really in front of me. I never really look at it anyway. Grub's got it all there, and so is Lukey. So let's get into the show.
How was your weekend, Grub?
It was awesome, boys. First things first, thanks for having me on. Big fan. And I must say, that was read like a news reporter, a real news reporter.
You think I'd be doing Channel 7 shit, eh? Don't forget, boys. Do not forget.
That was awesome, mate. That was awesome. But no, been good, man. Weekend was good. It's just good to have footy back. You know, sometimes everyone's like, what'd you do on the weekend? I'm just like, nothing.
Like downstairs. Like you asked Grub and I 10 years ago, what'd you do last week on the weekend? And you're like, fuck, mate, what do you want to know?
We were like a couple of 100 metres up the road.
I just walked down from the Coke sign, mate. So it is a good thing when you're at this sort of spot in your life now where you can go, I did nothing. I just watched footy. I watched the boxing. I just hang with the family. Just ate good food. Try to get this fucking hand right. That's it. That's all I've been doing. I can't train. I can't do anything like that at the moment. So hopefully get the stitches out after this, and I can sort of get back into it slowly. The grip strength's coming back all right. So yeah, but weekends, man. Weekends is you cannot do a show like this. We said last downstairs. You can't do a show like this and just do these minis, KO minis and that.
Nah.
You get called out. Our fan base are fucking smart.
Absolutely.
And they'll call you out. I think they'll let it slide a little bit on the trials.
Yep.
Because I'll admit the trial games, I'm watching 70 minutes and the last 10 minutes I'm not really in. And when I know when there's games, just a real touch-ups like Souths and the Roosters and that, like you're not going to get anything out of it. Because are you going much on trial form? Are you one of those? Because I think, just say when you were playing, we would go, and when I was playing, I did not care about trials at all. You could get beat by 40 and go, fuck, stack the team up, boom, 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 and we're sweet. What are you thinking with Souths? What are you thinking with the Roosters, these teams that are like, you have a look at 1 to 17. Who are they missing? Who? Fucking not many.
Not many.
But the many they are missing is key, especially with Souths. I'll give Souths that.
Yep.
And the Roosters, who are the Roosters missing?
The Roosters for me looked a little bit un-Rooster-like.
Yes.
They looked, Mate? Small.
Yeah.
Like the first year without Jared,
Yep.
I think they're going to, because you know as a front rower, Jared done it for years. Even if he wasn't at his peak, he scared people.
Yeah.
He set the tone early.
Yeah.
Mate, he was in the last 2 years, he was coming out of the line first 2-3 minutes just trying to bang someone, just to set that intent. So I think they lacked that a bit yesterday. Spencer Leniu he's going to be the first time, or he might miss round one after that.
He will miss round one because that's exactly what they're trying to get out of the game. But go back to what you're saying.
No, it's the first time he's really going to be a starter in his career.
Yeah.
They need him to be the starter. And mate, I don't know
5 years.
If you've gone from a sort of benchy your whole career to be a starter, is it a big jump?
I think it is, and I think what he brings off the bench, nobody else can bring what Spencer Leniu brings. So if they can find another prop to start with him and still keep that rotation, because they're going to lose that a massive. So you're going to have Lindsay Collins there, who's your number one dog. You need to get another one there. If it's Nafua White or anything like that, maybe start him.
Yep.
Move that pack around. And just because Spencer is on starting money, that doesn't mean he has to start. It's a 17-man game now, and there's like proper game plans where you can implement him in the game and get the best out of Spencer Leniu. I don't think you have to start him. You necessarily have to start him because everyone's like, oh, Jared's gone, bang, Spencer's in.
Do you think he wants to though, Mace?
I don't. I think he wants to. I think he wants to, but then sometimes the games just don't suit the way he plays. Because at the start of games, man, you got to be like a Hargraves. You got to be like unless you're as big as a Payne Haas or a Tino, you're not really going to make those dints in the line because everybody's on. You're getting 3 into tackles. You're doing all that sort of shit. So unless you can really hurt with the ball like Jared does, and if you're as big as Tino, you see Tino's been out for a year. Bro, He's just 6'5", 118 kilos or whatever, 15 kilos, full of muscle, same
Beast.
pain, fucking footwork. No one's touching you. But when you're about fucking 5'10", I don't know how tall he is, what, 6'1", Rennie Matua? He's got Rennie, I reckon, by a couple of inches. When you're that tall, you're going to get those like shoulders on the chest and big contact from those boys. So I reckon it's a way where Spencer Leniu can still come off the bench and still have more of an impact.
But the one thing that I noticed from a halves perspective as well is, Chad Townsend.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have his best game yesterday. And it is a trial. And this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's new colours, but that they made that left edge of the Knights with Fletcher Sharp and Ponga. I love their
Bradman
little
Best.
combination.
Looks nice.
And they were mixing it up. Ponga was on ball. Sharp was on ball, sweeping out the back. But defensively, that right edge of the Roosters, they were in
Awful.
dramas.
Yeah.
Heavy dramas.
Really bad. Even their right four, I think it was one of the Butcher boys, Nat Butcher. I think he was playing right four.
No, I actually think it was Victor Radley.
Victor was on, because they put Siwa Wong at 13, and I think Nat was on the left edge. Man, that was Crichton. Yeah. Nat was off the bench. Yeah, sorry.
What's your thoughts on Victor on an edge?
I like him, but they had to change that up last year. Do you know what I mean? Like they the only reason why they changed it up because they had they had room to do that.
Yep.
And you could put him on an edge and go, all right, just relax a bit because we don't want you in the middle four because middle four. You're more like the risk and reward with that guy. He wants to kill everyone. So you put him out, which you love, right? I think he needs to be back in the middle. I honestly do. I think Nat Butcher can hold that edge quite easily.
Agreed.
And I think so. And I think Siwa Wong can play 13, and Crichton on the edge. And then you just got to mix that middle up. If you have Victor, Lindsay, who's the 9? Who's the young kid? I mean.
Connor Watson.
Yep. And then someone else like a Naful White. I don't mind that.
The one thing I seen with the Roosters yesterday, and look, they could do it in the past because they had great halves and ball players in Luke Keary. They tried to play wide pass to the halves, play nice and direct, and play that sweet play to Teddy, which is going to work a few times. But I also think you got to win it through the middle. And that's where Victor Radley, 2 years ago, Victor Radley was up there with Cam Murray and Isaiah Yeo as 13.
Easy. He was in my top 3.
Possibly getting picked for New South Wales until he went over to the dark side.
I agree.
And went to England.
100%. I'm with you.
Yeah, but that's where I think the Roosters need to maybe change their style and put him back in the middle so he can play nice and square at A and B and play at the back, a couple of change of directions, and then go to Teddy.
Take some pressure off the 7 and the Sandon Smith and all that. He needs to be that key ball player in the middle because I know Siwa Wong ain't doing that. He's too young. He's raw. He just wants to get the ball and do hit-ups. If you're 13 now, you've got to be able to ball play. You've got to be able to see what the defences are doing if the 4-man's coming in and everything like that, be able to zing the ball out wide. Play out the back, have like your middles running fucking good lines for you, testing A and B, and he does everything like that. He does everything that Cam Murray does. He's on par with all those guys still, but he's been put on an edge because he's fucking wild. That's it. Bring Victor Radley back in the middle. Otherwise, your middle's going to get run through. I swear. If you want to do that all year, if you haven't looked at that, Knights haven't got a fucking monstrous pack. They haven't got a scary pack.
At all.
You look at the names on the Roosters, I'm like, Roosters should be all right here. They should be all right. But when you pull the middles apart and then you look at the edge and then you just get skinned out there, that's what happens in games. Like most middles can handle each other. You know what I mean? Unless you get your Payne Haas and your anomalies who will just like for the 80 minutes they'll be out there. First 20, 25 minutes, no one's really dominating that game in the middle. And it goes out wide and then it just spreads you a little bit. So we'll break those games down in a little bit, but like it was pretty brutal. I was just looking at that game going, I picked them in my 8. And I'm thinking, fuck. I've got South back out. If I could do that again, just off the trial form, I'm ripping them out.
South?
The Roosters just off trial form, but I'm not going to be so hell-bent. Not hell-bent on it, because I think they can get their shit right.
Yep.
Just to make the 8, maybe. But that looks scary. A lot of pressure at that club.
Yes. Well, first on, Grub, we got a question that we can get you to read out for the big fella off the first YouTube one.
Yeah, so, Mace, I saw a highlight. 2006 prelims between the Dogs and Broncos. I actually didn't realise how fast you were. Chasing down a very, very fast man in Barrow.
It was a good angle, and I think I didn't do the kick chase, so I would have had a good angle on him. He picked that out straight away. Wayne goes, "Shut up, big fella." He goes, "You didn't." He goes, "This is 6 or 7 years later at Newcastle." Because I know where I was. I didn't used to kick chase at all. Fuck, mate. I'm doing your hit-ups. I'm trying to get quick play of the balls. I'm trying to get off the back of Ogre. Everyone's trying to scream for that Rennie and himself and all, trying to get that fourth tackle so you don't have to kick chase. None of that shit anymore.
That's for Bobcat to do.
Yeah, that's Bobcat and Lobby and Smack and all the
Lobby,
boys.
yeah.
But no, everyone knew what they did. I was like sort of back in that second, third sort of line. They just made that break. And like, I'm not fucking slow either. I'm sub 5
That's
over
some
40.
wheels, eh?
Come on, man.
Hey,
Don't fucking forget.
40 yard
4.9.
dash.
Yeah, 4.9. 4.9 over 40 metres, mate.
Alrighty, next one. So a few YouTube replies off the back of last episode. We won't give this too much time because it's a bit old topics now. The first one is from Bill6000 V4S. And it's regards to the Ricky versus Blair War of Words.
Yeah. You see that, Grub?
I did.
It says, sorry, Ricky, as formed with his behaviour. Samoan lads like BJ Leilua, CS Oliola and Junior Paulo were scrubbed a few times from representing Samoa under Ricky. Thoughts, boys? Just
Well, I think what year was that? Probably mid 2010s, I think. If BJ was down there, because
Yeah.
BJ was, I was at
Junior was
Newcastle
at
with
Canberra
BJ.
as
So
well.
you're talking mid like 2015, 16, 17, 18. What sort of world was there? World Cups and everything going on 2017? Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not taking that from him unless this is like coming from BJ or anyone.
just the fans' take
I know
on
what the
the
fans say, and I know you think I don't know rumours about all that kind of stuff, but I know Ricky's a man's man, mate. He'll leave it up to at the end of the day, he'll leave it up to the player. He'll give you options, right? Some take it, some don't.
Well, this next comment sort of addresses it, and I think Hoz has a good take of it in his notes here as well. He goes, "Yo, Hoz, Triple OG, Lukey in the glass house of emotions from a window. L1 from day one. On the All-Stars game, with talk of the timing and closeness to the Las Vegas games, is it possible internal pressure from clubs with hoping their players skip the game? Could the NRL look at bringing this game forward to the start of the trials, even a standalone weekend, as sort of an opening game of the year, so it gives the players enough time to get into camp, play the game, and then still have a full complement of the trials too? As a proud Indigenous man from Adelaide, this game is the best showcase of both Indigenous and multiculture, and in my opinion, the NRL does the best of all Australian sporting codes in promoting the cultures past the standard Indigenous rounds and Indigenous jumpers that most codes and clubs do each year. Cheers, fellas."
That is fucking awesome. That's
Good idea.
whatever he said. I think, yeah, you maybe manoeuvre it a little bit. Obviously, when Ricky goes put at the end of the year, not a chance. No one's
Nah,
playing that.
you can't do
but
that.
you got it with this window of, you know, like pre-season and everything like that, there's got to be a weekend there where it's like, bang, even if it's 3 weeks ago. You know, where like, I think something like that, Grub, you reckon?
yeah,
like
yeah.
you can, it's never ever, I don't think the game will ever brush it. You can't, it'd be silly.
Nah.
It's too good of an event, and it means so much to everybody. But come on, as if we couldn't go that first trial or whenever, bang, it's right there, straight out of the gate. You've already had like your 6 weeks of preseason, or even if you're a big dog, you've had a couple of weeks of running.
Yep.
You can go straight into a game. It's not even about playing the game. It's about being a part of camp, right? This is what's the blowback with Tapane and all that. It's like, you know, we want them available for this. No, they're picking the club over this because at the end of the day, who butters your bread? You know, you're not talking about small fish here. You got Tarps, who's like he's your man, he's your captain, he's $1 million player. You can't lose him.
Well, I got an idea. Why don't, if the boys really want to be a part of the week, right, Tarps and whatnot,
Yeah.
why don't they go to the week but then not play? Because then you know Ricky's happy,
Yeah.
but Ricky, you got to give a little bit as well to let the boys go and do what they've got to do to grow the culture.
Yeah.
Because that's their culture, man. I actually wish I had. You know, obviously, I'm Australian and
Yeah.
whatnot, but I would love to have a background culture to represent.
Yeah.
Like it'd be awesome. I watch them do everyone do the haka and that. It makes me proud. I'm not
Yeah.
even New Zealand or I'm not Samoan. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. Also, Blair, interesting choice to go after Ricky Stewart. Very, very scary, very scary man.
I love it. I mean, you got to commend Blair at the same time. Going, you know what? That's how much he loves his
Yeah.
people, man.
Yep.
And if he's going to go at any, it just happens to be fucking Joey Tarpany that didn't play. Who's the coach? Ricky Stewart. Oh, you would have been going, fuck, what do I do here? But you got to commend Blair. But like they need to work it out so it doesn't disrupt this, and we don't have conversations, and our best players aren't on the
Get the
field.
boy, I like your take. Get the boys out there running the waters. If that's
Yeah.
what the coaches are worried about,
Yep.
get them to be a part of the culture. They can still do all the tribal
Yeah.
dances potentially before. I think it's a coaching thing. They just don't want them out of camp. Is that
Indigenous, I didn't see many of like I didn't see Mango or JT or GI or Willie Tonga or Justin Hodges or those fucking boys who like made that happen, man. I don't see any of those fellas in camp.
I think they
think
would.
they
They
need
had
to
some
be,
exposure
man.
early in
Yeah?
the week.
Yeah,
I
okay.
believe because I was
Okay.
in there for the podcast
Yeah.
midweek, and I believe they there was some connection there for sure.
Okay.
Or they'd been at least reached out to.
They need to get them all back in, man. I know there's a disconnect from my people, the guys that I know that have been around that. There's a disconnect between that. And they need to fix that. They need to fix that back up and get all those blokes back into camp because they love being in camp, man. They reckon it was the funnest. They reckon it was like JT and Gion. That was the funnest week of their fucking lives.
Yeah.
In camp. So that's saying something. You're
would
talking
be.
about GI and J2 who have done every single thing in the game, been on multiple kangaroo tours, multiple Queensland camps all with their clubs and everything like that. And they go on Indigenous round because they're so proud. That's what changed JT's whole outlook on things when he got brought into camp and he understood where he was from. He didn't know that. He wasn't educated that when he was younger. It changed his whole perspective on it, man. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
All right, moving forward. Last week we spoke about Flanagan. This comment's come through from Sean Cole. Flanagan actually played his best footy at the Roosters with 13 wins, 7 losses, 65% win percentage, and they made the top 4. He got moved on because they brought in Sam Walker off the back of his stellar Ipswich Jets run. Sam Walker's 2 best years have him with 1 extra wins, getting him at 66%. Flanagan was just a scapegoat for the Roosters' inability to produce quality halves. They recruit premiership winners, they don't develop them. Thoughts on that take?
Well, I'm not going to compare Flanagan and Sam Walker with their records because have a look at the team that Flanagan was in. You could get some kid from local league and run that team. They were fucking superstars, 18, 19, sort of around that era. But that was where Flanagan was sort of coming through. But, yeah, I think Sam Walker, I don't know, I think...
Different players,
man.
Very
like
different
it's that
players.
Sam Walker come into a system where like, you know, he had a bunch of guys that have been there, won a couple of premierships, 2 or 3 premierships, and he's trying to tell like Hargraves and all these, you know, all these big dogs what to do. It would have been hard for him.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, it would have been. Have you been in that position?
Yeah, well, the hardest one for me was when I first got picked in Origin as a half.
Yeah, right.
You know, you come into the camp and you got like Gal, Luke Lewis, Hainsey, all those guys that have played for
Hawks as well.
But then also, I've said this before. So I was with Des at the Bulldogs who controlled everything.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have to talk, you know, fucking meetings and go on the board and this and that. But then Laurie Daly goes, man, you boys, you and Hocker, yous are up. Yous are speaking in front of everyone. You got to know the game plan. You got to own this team.
Yeah.
So that was daunting, man. Like, and then because, like, you know, Gal's probably, even though he was in his head, sometimes he's probably like, stuff this. Like, I know what
he's
I
a forward as well. Not Gal Sinkin and Birdie
you know
and Luke Lewis.
Yeah, they're like, nah. But in the end, I think it was the best thing for me as a half moving forward. I got that confidence to be able to speak in front of people.
Yeah.
And then you probably realise, look, boys, this is the fucking game plan.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. And I know I didn't come up with the game plan, but that's what what we got to do. So as a half, it's good. But for me, Flano, even watching him this week, fuck, he's playing some good
Looks
footy.
better. He just looks like he's comfortable and he belongs. I think the thing with Flano is in the last like 3 or 4 years, if he read comments and shit like that kid's head would be in the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's strong-minded. He's come back. He's moved clubs from the Dogs. He's gone to St George. He's worked on his fucking game and he's implementing it. I can't credit the kid enough. I love guys who do that. People have got a different take on Flano as a player, as a person. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm just rating him as a. I know him as a person. He's a decent kid, right? And as a player, he's playing some high-level football. These have been 2 trial games, but
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I'll say. And I think Flanagan's going to have a breakout year to say, like, even though he's been around for 5.
Do you know what I reckon's going to help him, Mace? And we've seen it. Well, I seen it in the trial. So there's the question of who's going to be the 7 and who's going to be the 6. Because Ilias and Flano are, for me, very similar players.
Yeah.
I think they're both 7s. But at the same time, on the weekend, I seen Ilias probably stand up a bit more to 7. And Flano, he was running some really nice, tight sweep lines out the back. But Gutho, you could just see him Japper. Like, he's had some really good halves. He's had Moses and Dill for a long time.
Yeah.
So they know they were a great spine. So I reckon Gutho is just going to help those 2 boys figure out, you know, who's the top dog, who's the half, and who's the guy that's going to be out the back sweeping, hitting Gutho.
Yeah, and I think another thing with Flano's progression, when he first came into the system, he had Birdo there. Birdo like dominated, and then he go over there, he got Ben Hunt. So you got 2 guys who are like dominant ball players and bigger personalities than him, and Ilias had the same. Ilias had Cody Walker and Latrell. So like his personality would have just got beat down, you know what I mean? So now both of these young kids can thrive. You know, so it's a perfect little match for them.
Love it. All right, moving forward into some current questions. We've got a new one here from Ben Biddle-Chucky.
Sorry, can I butt in? Of course. The fan, speaking about the fans, how good was that thing at the tab? The fan thing.
The fan bunker.
You,
The fan bunker was awesome.
And then I'm like, some things that we do, I'm like, it's not going to be that good. But after that, I went, the setting and everything like that, Hoz being the moderator, and then us three, and then three blokes who actually knew their fucking footy. One of them come down from Port, didn't he?
Yep.
Port Macquarie drove down.
It's a big effort.
Central Coast, and then I think the other one was a Sydney boy. And Cronulla, yeah. So I was like,
Holspion had to come from Belmore 20 minutes. He's
I
come
was
from
filthy.
Port
I
Macquarie.
I didn't get on Anzac Parade. I was fucking furious. Cut through the back streets.
It did really well. You can go watch that on the Tab YouTube channel, and we'll have the audio on our feed some point today as well.
Yeah, that was mad. I think we can really. I was speaking to Kate Waugh. Shout out to Kate. She's a legend. There's a lot of things we can do with that. Like you could get other sports people in there, right? You get union players, you get a cricket player, and just sit there and chat about fucking sports. Mad.
Yeah, and it's a perfect
Awesome
format.
Yeah.
It suits you guys to a T, I think. Josh, did you enjoy
Easy.
it?
I loved it.
Even Loz. Like Loz don't say that much.
Yeah.
And he's a current New South Wales coach.
Well, even just to have the literally current New South Wales coach and fans literally asking direct questions, what
a dynamic.
It was amazing. And look, sadly
get a
enough,
chance
I know
ever.
it was a very, very sad moment in that when we heard about the Murray, but that was live. That was raw. You don't really get that. You're watching Channel 9 News and breaking news is from 3 hours ago.
Boys, we've got some breaking news as well. Sort of want to get your reaction here, Loz. It would be a big part of your team. Cam Murray has ruptured his Achilles. Training. This is live, just happened. Wow. Yeah. So
that's a big
devastating
one
for Jimmy. We just talked about the South Pack.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on him as a player, I guess.
I think he's an amazing player. Certainly would have been. He would have been in the 17, Cam Murray, for sure. That's massive news. Big disappointment for Cam. Big disappointment for South Sydney supporters, obviously. That's a massive blow for South Sydney.
Now that our lock is open, that to me, Keon goes straight to lock. Arrow is your middle, and now there's an edge spot open, which has been, in my opinion, a weakness for us the last couple of years. You've played middle, you've played edge. How do you see it? Or Schuster is, again, now even more of a chance to give you a different look on an edge too. So.
Losing Cam Murray is massive. He's a huge loss for the game. I feel, my prayers are with him, just to have a major injury like that. After an injury at the back end of the year, 2 weeks before round one, it just sucks. Yeah, I'm not sure what you do there. You put if you put Keon at 13, then your back row is pretty light. I'd rather keep him at 12 on that right side, so he has a good combination there. I'd put Jai Arrow at lock, and I'd have Aiken at the left edge.
That was as live as it was, and it was. I was watching it back and just seeing your reaction, it's raw, man. It was awesome. I really
You should
enjoyed
have seen me in the booth when that came through. I'm like,
Lukey come through with the goods too. I've got to give you a big shout. It wasn't anyone else. It was Lukey Stowe.
It's a great team with the tab. All right, moving forward, we've got a question on Kalen Ponga from Ben Biddlechuki. Short-time listener, first-time commenter. He's a bit late to the take. Ponga situation. Newcastle is so dependent on Ponga. They can't settle on halves and have no depth from what it looks like from an outsider's point of view. With Ponga's knowledge and ability to drive the ball, create space and cause a shift, why isn't Ponga their man? My question to you and Mace, why isn't Ponga playing in the halves, especially with such ball creativity and ability to take a chance? Up the Bronx.
Fuck, I don't want him playing in the halves. We tried that last year. He's in the front line too much. He gets the ball too early when defences can see what he's doing. He's either going to be around the back, where I love him on that left side sweep when you saw it yesterday, and he's just too good with the ball. You've got to be really good if you're the middles and you try and do that sort of block shape, is to square up just A and B, and all he has to do is get to C, and you're in trouble. You know what I mean? If you can't work from marker, if you're not working from marker to put pressure on the ball player, or A comes up and hunts and B comes in and closes these down, you're fucked. If you get to the middle of the field, he's so good. And then you got Lucas, and you got Bradman Best, and then it's hard to beat. I don't want him ever playing at 6. I saw that. I see him in the front line too much because he's too tough for his own good. He was going to put his head there. I want to get away from.
Yeah,
the
maybe
knocks.
Ben hasn't been aware of his history playing there in the past.
Yeah, he's played there. They've tried their best to get him there, and I think he can. I think he can play 6. You think he can play 6, right?
Absolutely.
But I want him at fullback. He's way more dangerous. He can have both sides of the field.
Did you see him yesterday in the trial when Roosters didn't have a straight kick chase? bang,
done.
bang, left foot straight through.
He blew the try too.
That's why I don't want to. He blew that
he
try.
fucking blew it. Give it to Bradman Best,
Bradman
mate.
Best. Then Bradman Best got hooked after that because of his poor. I thought he'd done his
hamstring.
but I don't think he did.
No, I think
he's sweet.
he's done
but because that can change a game.
Yeah.
You know, people say he's sort of Biddlechucky said here, why isn't he the man? He's still the man at fullback. Oh my God, he is the man. But I will say, it is. When you're defending in the front line as a half, you can't just think of attack. You actually have to think defensively, like, I've got a lead line coming on me in shoulder, I've got to check and go. Whereas I think with fullback, catching the ball and stuff would be natural for Kalen. He's done that his whole life. So, like, getting up, he loves it. But all he's got to think about is running. Running across field, drifting across field. And we seen yesterday, and I think this is going to be a lethal left edge with him and Fletcher Sharp. Yeah. Just changing roles
so fast.
I think the problem, my problem with Newcastle is who's on the other side, and this is what I just feel Newcastle got to get right. O'Brien's got to deal with it right now. Who's your halfback? Yeah. Who's your halfback? You got Hastings, you got Cogger. There's a few
looks
options.
Like Cogger, eh?
It looks like Cogger from yesterday, but I just think if I was a half, and I've done it before where I've been in a bit of a halves merry-go-round, I just want to know either way. Am I starting Reggie's or am I playing first grade so I can get these boys trusting me? Yeah. Like, Ponga's going to do Ponga things and that's fine. And Fletcher Sharp looks like he's going to be a great 6. It's sort of like having two fullbacks on the field. Yeah. You seen him yesterday, both backing each other up. But
scary.
Agree on your halfback. Yeah. You got to decide on your halfback.
And the 9 there too, because Brayley come on and said, "Fuck, I can play 9 as well." Crossland, they look all right. The Knights, they look all right.
Grub, what does that conversation look like for you in the locker room? Like from that mindset that you've had there, like, am I in Reggie's? Am I here? What does that look like?
Oh, when you're with the boys, it's you never have the convo. You do have the convos, but it's not like let's just say for an example, when I was at the Tigers with Benji, because I signed at Tigers, played 5'8", got injured multiple times with my hamstrings and whatnot, and Benji killed it. Yeah, but it wasn't like I'm sitting here in the locker room to someone else going, I can't believe Benji's playing good.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Can't believe 05 Benji decided to come back.
I wouldn't believe it, would you?
But that's just the way it goes. And like me personally, there would be guys out there, and I'd be lying if you said you're not filthy deep down, because it's like, fuck, that's I want to be there, but you're not. You haven't got the voodoo doll. Maybe once or twice. But no.
Fuck this guy, man.
No, it's just footy. You understand it's footy. For me, it's more the coach being honest. Be honest with me, man. Yes. I was 30 at that stage. I was 28 to 30 years old. I'm not a baby, man. Mm-hmm. Tell me where it's at.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I might be playing at Lidcombe Oval with the grass that big for the Magpies. But just let me know, bro. Just let me know.
Yeah, it's the comms with the coach. That's all you want. You don't need that from your players. And, like if you're playing with all these other players and you're expected to play and you're not playing, it's like, oh, well, fuck. I just need to either wait for an injury, just keep playing and all that kind of stuff. You don't care. Your competitive edge is like, I need to fucking play. Yep. I want to play, all that kind of shit. But it's the communication with the coaches. That's why the Wayne Bennett's and the Bellamy's are the best. Because you get clear information. All right, Willie, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, Grub, you're doing this. You're like, fine. Don't play fucking mind games with me at training when you're old enough. Do it when you're 20 and you don't know what you're going on. You're playing on one side or the other. But now, when you're at an age and you're like, fuck, mate, what's happening? And that's the clear comms from coaches. And some aren't good at that.
Yeah, we've got another question here from a Bulldogs fan, which is good. I've got Jay Stavanovich. His question is, hey boys, big fan of the podcast, Doggies fan since 94. Wanted to throw something out there specifically around how the game now is becoming more technical and fluid from a spectator lens. You guys touch on basketball here and there. Love it. Obviously, Grub, you got the tab show with Scope as well. Do you think the NRL should be adopting and showcasing more analytics around the telecast? Since there is a younger audience who are watching the game now, who would be watching NBA, NFL, where these sports do a good job at talking and exposing their audience to data? Portland, Telecast, for example, where it does bring more detail into the sport. Some examples could be showing the post-contact meters around specific scenarios, team attacks percentage rates down a certain edge of the field, how many times a player ends up in a support play position, etc. I think tiny steps in bringing this can help showing the technical side of the sport where we don't have access to. Thanks again, guys. You guys are a great listener and can't wait for the start of the season. Jermaine.
That's a question. I told
that
you.
Is a long question.
It's a fucking good question. Yeah. I think there's a space there, right? I'm a massive NFL fan, NBA fan. You are as well. The analytics blow your head off, right? Is it too much? No, I don't think so. For that specific game, NFL's very, very targeted at that stuff. Analytics is so important for everything, right? NRL's a very different game. And even AFL on a certain level, the analytics are through the roof, union through the roof, where NRL has sort of stayed there and just give you those meters and tackles and post-contact meters that you'll get and everything like that from the stats that the NRL get. I'm not sure how much you can elaborate on it more as a commentator. I look at Channel 9, I look at Fox Sports. I reckon Cooper Cronk is really good at that, at really breaking down games. Yep. He's that better than commentating, I think. So I think you got certain guys who are commentating too, like I'm hearing their voices too much when that's not their specialty. I don't want to hear Cooper Cronks as a commentator. I love him when he's sitting around a table breaking games down. He was doing that with Matty Johns. That was fucking brilliant.
On that podcast.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. And there's a space there for that because the game is like, we look at the game like, I'm like, okay, I know what's going on here. The game hasn't changed that much since I've been retired. Grubb only retired last year, so he was right in it. But I'm not sure what else we could do. I think they can break it down more when you got Joey, you got Lockie, you got the smartest guys in Channel 9 in the world that's played the game, in the history of the game, that they never break down games. Hardly ever. Freddie and Joey, you got JT, Cam Smith, Billy, all these coaches, current coaches, origin coaches, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, why aren't you getting the best out of them? It's not the footy show anymore, right? Where it's just a real, it's a comedy, a satire show. These guys, like, look at the questions that we fucking get bombarded with. Smart people, the average fan knows your shit now.
Yeah.
They know everything. They know more than us mostly, especially when it comes to analytics. But like, I think there's a show where they can just sit there and break a game down. I want to see that from Joey. I'm friends with Joey. Like we sit there and talk about games. And I'm like, why aren't they putting you in a position to do that? Why isn't JT and Joey in the same fucking room breaking a game down, looking at Mitch Moses, looking at Nathan Cleary, putting it in different situations on a big screen, going, why would you do this? Is the X, Y, and Z? Do you know what I mean? Like, why isn't there something like that?
But from what Jay's saying, he wants it live.
Yeah, he wants to do
fuck that doing it live. It'd be pretty hard.
I'm saying
live. Sorry, when on the Friday night footy and at half time.
Is that what you think?
It sounds like during the telecast he wants more information.
I agree. I think they have to train these guys up with all these. Look, the technology these days, you can do fucking everything. You can move pieces and everything like that. Exactly. We can't use that. Otherwise, we fucking would. We'd have a show dedicated to breaking down the X's and O's so we can explain to everybody. But the NRL won't let us use footage and all that sort of shit. So fuck it. It's fucking, you can't do it. That's why NFL podcasts can break it all down because they can use that. So is the NBA. So that's the difference. But there's got to be a space there at halftime when you look at it. You've got Gus Gould there, smartest motherfucker ever to even be around the game, right? And you've got Andrew Johnson, JT, and Cam Smith. Why aren't they sitting around breaking games down? Why Harry Grant's doing this and Matt Munster when Melbourne's going really good, Cleary, Luai, breaking those things down when you got Gallen there, who's been one of the greatest forwards of all time. He's at 13. You got Cam Smith at 9. You got fucking Billy at 1, and you got the 7 and 7. Fuck, why? That's the spine, the greatest spine of all time, and they're not breaking down games for the layman's.
You know who does it? The Super League do it.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Super League after? So
yeah, they do.
Man of the match, he goes up into the box and he breaks it down with JT or and they set up like his try assist or his try. And they actually move the players and why you done it. I actually think
that's what I'm saying. There's technology there.
Do you think that's off the back of they've got such good technology in the Premier League over there for the soccer?
It definitely is, I think. And I think, do you know what I think would be good? I actually agree. But I think they should do a show as well about it, the breakdown of actually maybe 2 tries per game and why. And how much is that going to help the little kids, the young kids, the young halves and stuff coming through?
Oh, mate.
It'd be amazing. But you know one thing I'd like live So the likes of yourself, I'm talking about forwards mostly, halves, centres, wingers, they're scoring tries, they're getting all the accolades, they're in the papers. But you know the stats I'd like to see is for the guys that probably don't get a lot of the, like someone like Tony Grimaldi. Yeah. You played with him. He done everything. He mopped up everything. Maybe
that's why I could do that mad chase because Lobby's on the kick chase.
But things like that.
Making 60s. He was one of, he's one of the most. You need a Tony Grimaldi in your team. To have to get the ball, I used to get the ball like 20 to 25 times a game. So did Ogre, Pricey, Roy, Sonny. You got to share that shit around. You can't have another back row or a lock getting the same amount. Corey Hughes, you can't. You got to have a Corey Hughes and Adam Perry. fucking, they're the ones that do all the fucking little things, so all of us can be a little bit fucking looser with what we're doing. I'll say looser. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We've
bro.
got ball hawks, and we're gonna give you that front foot. We're gonna get momentum in the middle and fucking hits and everything. But it's a flip side. That's why balance is so good. Back to that fucking NFL Live. If you watch NFL Live,
What a show.
Dan Orlovsky, how he's breaking down games with these fucking whatever that is,
VR headset.
VR headset breaking down games. Have you seen that? That's just in America. Surely it's 2025. We can have that shit. We don't probably need it to that extent, but how they break games down on NFL Live, the NRL need a show like that. NRL Live. There's your fucking show.
All right, moving on, guys. Another question around the Roosters and their squad makeup. Question for Grub and OG. Roosters have only filled 25 of their 30-man squad for 2025. 4 of those spots are development players and 2 of those spots with Cheese and Sam Walker, who are injured. Can you remember a Roosters side starting the season with a roster like this? And who do you think they're going to target? Scope in his notes has left a little smoky. 1 spot left potentially for Joey Manu.
From all reports, Joey Manu's coming back.
Really?
Well, that's what apparently he's. I don't know if he's not happy over there, or it's just not working. But I read something the other day, so that's why they're leaving a spot open, and I'd be leaving 3 spots open for him, just in case. But look, I think just from the way the Roosters are going, I think they're going for someone big. Very, very. I don't know when, but I just think it is very un-Roosters like with the squad they've got right now. I think they're waiting maybe a year just to see where they're at, and I think there's always talks about Ponga going there. I've heard there's whispers about Ponga constantly going there. Look, and I would not be getting rid of. I'm not changing him for Teddy.
No,
but look, going back to one of our other questions, would you take Ponga there to be the 6?
Fuck no. I don't think Ponga will go there to be 6 either. I think he wants that number 1 spot. 25 of 30.
Can I just quickly add, Joey Manu is set for a Japanese rugby exit, according to sportingnews.com.au, but it is to go across
Is it?
Oh, there you go.
to
I
French
thought- yeah, that's what I
14
was
Club
saying.
Racing 92.
I don't think we'll see him this year.
Okay.
I think they're going to leave a spot somewhere like in the next couple of years for him, just in case, right? But he's going to, like, once he gets through Japan, then he lives in the south of France. His whole perspective is going to change on Union. Plays in some bigger games. I think living in, it's very regimented and everything like that in Japan, and the way they train wouldn't be like anything that he's ever experienced in his whole life. So whole big culture change. It's going to take a while for him to acclimate into anything. And then when he gets in the south of France, I think his whole head will just turn and go, where the fuck has this been? And I just think, but very scary. 25 out of 30. That's most clubs can't get that. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to offload some dead weight. So that's how much weight they've that's how much they've got rid of. That's scary.
What do they need, Mace? What if you're the Roosters right now watching them yesterday? What do they need?
They need another front row. Another big boy. They got back rows out their ass. They got, Crichton's one of the best back rows. I still think Victor's a middle. You got Nat Butcher who can do a job. You got back rows everywhere. Siwa Wong and everything. They need another big guy.
What about
And a half.
Molo?
And another for centre.
What's going on with the? Is it Francis Molo?
Yeah,
Isn't he
I
Tigers?
understand
Isn't he
he's been
Tigers,
given
man?
permission to negotiate elsewhere,
So
from what I understand.
surely they'd be sniffing around there. You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
You taking him, Mace?
I'll take Molo.
Yeah?
He goes good, man. He
goes
had a great. He played Origin in 2020, I think, 2021 under Wayne with the COVID stuff, and then he sort of had a few injuries, and then he really come back on the scene last year. He's fucking good, man. He goes after it as a middle. That's what I'd want, and I think he can take a lot of pressure. Lindsay Collins. I don't think Lindsay Collins is your main man.
Yes, there's a few parts of that. So apparently Clem is rumoured to go Dragons, but that's contingent on Molo being able to leave.
I want to know what happened with that Molo thing. You
Something-
can't go. It's a coaching thing, man.
I think it's going to go. It looks like it's going to get nasty.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem. It's come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, and you know when you hear a story, but you don't really hear it. Like it's like no one really.
No, we can't see it here. Honestly,
Okay.
you could hear rumours usually.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything.
Well, the yarn was he went to training with his brother,
Yeah,
and his brother didn't even know that he was going to
I know all that. That's what I mean. It sounds even weirder when you hear that. His
believe-
brother had to get an Uber home.
Yeah.
Did he sling him for the Uber?
He invoiced him.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
It's Roosters are never in this position. They're usually trying to get rid of players, and they've gotten rid of probably too many. But they need an outside back, like a killer centre, which is probably they're thinking Joey Manu. I don't think Joey Manu's going to come back. They need another middle.
To use an NBA term, and it's not really in the Roosters' DNA, but is this a tanking year?
Fuck no.
Oh.
They don't tank, mate. They don't tank. They expect guys like Lindsay Collins and Spencer and Victor and Crichton. Those names there I just rattled off are in a fucking starting pack. You'd expect wins out of that pack, right? So their halves they need to step up. Sanders Smith needs to step up. Everybody needs to step up. You got, Sam Walker comes back and Cheese come back. That's not their answer. It's a fucking halfback and a 9. A young, 23-year-old kid with Sam Walker is coming back from an ACL. It's going to take him a minute. Brandon Smith is going to take him a minute. You need your big dogs there who you expect to do the job for you to do it. Like Lindsay Collins needs some help. He's not that guy. He's not the guy who's just going to get the Roosters, give me the ball and give you 25 hit-ups. He's a gun. He's a goer, but he's not Hargraves. He's not a real tone setter. There's not many in the fucking comp, to be honest. That's why it's so important. Even though he's first picked in most rep teams these days, he's still not someone where you're going to look at the team sheet and go, fuck.
He's more your worker, Mace, isn't he?
Yeah, he does a lot of he does a lot of work that front rowers don't do. But most time I want my front rower doing some real fucking you're gonna die shit, like your Marco Mealy's.
Yeah.
Ogre's trying to fucking kill you the whole game. Yeah, well I can do whatever I want because Ogre's got you know what I mean? So that's what Hargraves did for Lindsay.
Yep.
Hargraves will take that shit. Lindsay will get off the back end. It could give him some more energy to do all that stuff and go, yeah, you can do whatever you want. I got the middle, mate.
I got a headline for you, boys.
Yeah, give it to me.
I got a headline. Cody Walker's off contract.
Ooh, shit.
He goes over to the dark side, the Roosters.
You reckon?
I'm just looking at off contract players, big dogs. I'm just looking at a few. I don't know. It depends how Souths go this year, but
How old would he be? He'd be pushing
36, man. But he started when he was 26.
I know,
so he's
10 years.
different.
Depends how his
he's
body
still
is.
he's still one of the best ball players in the game for me. Like I look at him.
It's Cliffy Lyons 2.0.
I don't know. I was just looking at some players, looking at some names, and I was like,
I wonder if he'd go.
maybe Uncle Nick.
He'd take some persuading, mate. He would. If anyone could get you, it's Uncle Nick.
Wow.
It's Uncle Nick, mate. I think,
Anyone else on that list that stands out?
Yeah, I was just sort of looking. It's
Or it's Parramatta halves with their contract
Dylan
situation.
Brown.
Dylan. That's the best one.
I would be going full steam into Dylan Brown. Everything. I'll put everything at him. Go.
The payment structure for the Roosters is what's throwing that out, apparently.
Please.
What is that?
They can't afford him. You got 5 players on that roster spot. Dylan Brown's worth 3. Put it that way. He's 20. He's in his peak. I think the next 4 years for Dylan Brown are going to be fucking woof. They're going to be there because I look at the 5'8", so I'm like, so last year, like when we do our teams and we rank our sixes, he's top 3 in my book. And then we've got some great sixes at the moment. And I know the Roosters, he'd look good in the tricolours. Sorry, Para supporters, but I reckon if they want him, like I'm not sure what Para's willing to pay, but I bet the Roosters are willing to pay more.
I got one for you. You'd say they need a front rower, Tommy Hazelton.
Yes.
Probably not a spot for him in the Shark. Not a spot. I think I read an article that he might have to take unders to start the Sharks. Do you think he's at a stage where he can go and start at the Roosters?
I think he can. What I've seen, his growth in the last 2 years, I've been really pleased with Hazelton. He's a big man with soft hands and can play big minutes, and that's hard to get. He runs really big. I reckon he probably would have played in the centres or something like that when he was younger, and he grew to fucking 6'8". But he's really improved. And I love a young kid who works on his game. And he's like got nice soft hands. He works hard in defence. He's fit, big minutes. Like I think he can be a starter in most teams. So just another big body too. It's like he's not gonna hit you like fucking Victor Radley or any of those blokes. By the way, who did Para play on the weekend?
Tigers.
Fuck, that was brutal, that game. We'll break that game down a bit later, but I'm not sure if it was the mics really close to the game. But fuck, you could hear some hits.
You could hear it, I was there.
Oh, I was like, thank God I'm sitting on my fucking chair.
Tigers are finally doing some defensive.
Someone's getting hit. Who's their defensive coach?
I got one more for you, boys, before we get off this
Come
topic.
on, mate, cares?
Surely Katoni Staggs can't... the Broncos can't keep all these players.
No.
Katoni Staggs off contract.
I've been saying that for 2 years.
He came out yesterday and said that he sees his future in Broncos.
Okay. As if he's going to say, I see my fucking future in the Roosters.
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
Apparently his deal's close. So let me find the quote.
I think you can't keep Selwyn or Katoni.
Well, he's off as
Both of them can't
go.
exist in the same thing. And I think the Roosters will be there to catch one of them.
There you go.
But I just don't think Selwyn will go down south. I don't think he'll come back there. I think anywhere he's going up.
Yeah, fair enough.
To the Cowboys. The Cowboys need some
It
sort
happens
of.
a lot up there, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
they all like.
They don't want to leave Queensland, mate.
You're staying there. You're on
They're
Cowboys,
gods up there.
Dolphins.
They come down here, they're nothing. That's where I'd want to come, down here. So he's not in a fishbowl.
Yeah, he said at the Daily Choices launch on Thursday, as a young kid, this is where I wanted to be, and I couldn't see myself anywhere else. I just got to play good footy this year and perform well. Obviously, a few cliches in there, but
Of course, mate. Oh, wait, if I'm CEO of Brisbane, I'm like, yeah, good answer, son.
Well, of course.
Of course, mate.
got a
He's
$2
playing
mil
the
deal on
game.
the
It's
table,
good.
so he's got to try and make that
Right,
work.
and I want to see Katoni be available, man. I think he's got a little bit of a problem on the weekend. Again, early moments he
Little
come
tweak.
off.
Yeah.
Little
Oh, yeah.
tweak.
What happened?
He's got so much fucking power in him.
Oh, man.
It's like he's got too much. If he fucking goes out at 100, something just goes ping. He's a Ferrari.
All right, one little last one to wrap up the YouTube questions. We've got a Super League fan, Danny Page. He says, "Hi lads, L1 from day one from Leeds. Wondering which pre-season you think was tougher, an NRL one or a Super League one? I can imagine an NRL one being way more intense and strict, but a Super League one is right in the middle of the English winter, which I bet is yuck."
It's fucking yuck. That's why I left when I was in Hull. I got up and it was fucking minus 10 degrees. Going over the Humber Bridge or some shit. I'm like, get me the fuck
Bridge.
out of here. You know where that is?
I know where that
is. 2 whole fucking KR greats sitting here.
Is it fair to say? Well, is it fair to say we could be two of the greats?
Oh, 2 of the
Or
greats.
two of the most hated.
2 of them. one easily the haters.
Oh man,
The most hated. But great people in Hull. But like, fuck, mate. It's cold. It's miserable. It's not like it's in the summer here. You're doing pre-season. Regardless if you're in Penrith, you're in Newcastle, Brisbane, North Queensland, you're at the Roosters, South or whatever. Like you're here and it's sunshine, right? Yeah. You can deal with the heat. They're not just out there running you like a dog. It's called fucking drinks and drink breaks, right? You work your ass off here, but the English work hard. It's different elements, man. But like training-wise, I just think with what I've done over here and what I've seen over here, I just think ours is just a little bit more.
oh man,
It's
elite.
Yeah, it's crazy. You look at our coaching staff. Look at the coaching staff for like any sort of NRL team. There's more fucking staff than there is players. We're in the photo the other day, bro. It was weird, the Bulldogs photos, and we're fucking sitting there. I hate that. I never really go to the Bulldog. I never go to the team photo. I've always missed out, and so was fucking Ogre. Because like you just let that for the other staffers who actually do stuff at the club. They do some great work at the Bulldogs club. The staff guys, I'm part of the staff, but I'm like,
We're
ringings, mate. Fucking Jimmy's there as well. We're sitting on the edge like going. Wait till the team photo comes out. It's fucking embarrassing.
Boys let us know too. The boys.
I just crawled in. They go, oh, you boys. I just ran around the other side, just like set up the back lane. I was like, oh, get me out of here.
Well, thanks to all our YouTube comments. We love them. They're very detailed. We were talking about it
Fucking
pre-show
questions,
in the
mate.
green room, how detailed they are. So thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe to all the fun YouTube stuff. And obviously on Apple and Spotify as well. A bit of NRL news moving on. We've got Vlandis. They came out with the N. Do you want to stop? No. Vlandis boasts NRL record $744 million in revenue as the game targets a $1 billion mark. So the impending expansion could lift the NRL to $1 billion after the league announced 2024 was the most successful in the game's 117-year history. The ARL Commission revealed an operating surplus of $62.3 million, the fourth consecutive surplus with the 4-year total hitting more than $226.5 million. Total revenue increased to $43.7 million to a new record of $744.9 million. And the ARLC chairman Vlandis said it was clear the game was entering an exciting phase of new growth. That will include the new introduction of the PNG team in 28 and a possible 19th team in Perth. It marked an 8.6% increase from 184 million viewers in 2023 to 133 in 2018. So big
Fuck,
lift.
how good's that?
It's a lot of
Number
great
one
time.
game in the southern Australasian
Sorry,
part
that
of the
was a
world, I
lot of
believe.
numbers.
Yeah.
That
I'm
was.
looking at. I don't know. I'm just thinking we're in a good place.
That's algebra.
So are we in a good place?
Yeah.
Look,
Grub, are we?
Just wait.
We're good.
yeah. Lucky I had my Red Bull. I was a bit more
I was
toned
just
in.
like, I was just looking at that going, is that a lot of money? That's a lot. Yeah, okay. Well done. Vlandis, the game, everything, congratulations. I think it's exactly where it should be. The game is at its most successful right now. You see, and everyone's eating off it, whether it be like podcasts, the Fox, the news. Everybody gets to eat off this massive pie that they've created. So it's just good to be a part of it. I mean, it's just a great time to be a player and being part of the game.
What's your thoughts, Mace, on or boys?
Yeah.
So there's a 5-year deal in Vegas. We actually got asked this question in the tab bunker. Do we stay in Vegas or do we go somewhere else in the States? Or someone actually mentioned, do we try Europe or something like that? For me personally, I'd love to see it go south. I mean, over in America, they love their NFL down south, like Texas. Play it.
But would they know about our brand there? Like we're just say if you look at the SEC in the college and Alabama and all that sort of stuff, it's just so hell bent. That's like NFL heartland.
Yeah.
Do you know? Could they even buy into it a little bit? Could they? Where Vegas, everyone's sort of like a little bit more worldly. Like California, I know the All Blacks have played in Chicago.
Yeah, that's what
I know they've played in LA. They've got massive crowds. But that's the All Blacks. The All Blacks is a brand. We're throwing fucking 8 clubs over there. You know, like four clubs, 4 NRL clubs. That's why I said, if you want to put league on the map, you've got to throw an Origin over there. Fucking somewhere. I just think they just need to put an Origin, either be in LA at that SoFi or in Vegas, and just. I know fucking logistics is impossible.
I think
but I'm saying I know we don't want to. I know it's never going to buy into any percentage of the NFL. We're not going to try and cut into any of the market. I think it's just awareness and people actually knowing what the fuck we're doing in Australia and how good it is. You know, you're getting Gronk over there advertising, and you're getting all these big dogs who are advertising our game for us. In Vegas, where I think it's the only place where they're like a little bit more, a little bit more aware of everything else, where you want to be on the East Coast, you're just non-stop NFL or basketball or hockey. No one gives a shit about NRL.
I think it's from like the marketing perspective, we control this week with this Vegas thing, and it's a good headline Vegas. I think that everyone can feed off the back of that. You got the Sharkies with the LA Kings over there. You got Canberra Raiders in the pool in Vegas doing their recovery with Ricky. Like they're all. It's just such a good PR thing in the game. And what I know, we're on this part of the world, and obviously a rugby league podcast. But have you heard anything about the AFL season starting?
This is what we did to them last year.
Yeah, and I think this is almost just as valuable domestically for what we're doing with it over there. That sort of makes the money and the value for
Lukey,
it.
that's what I think the plan is so we can wipe everybody in Australia off at the start of the year. We're not trying to get a team over in Vegas. That's not the plan. The plan is to start our fucking year off like that so we can hit numbers like that.
Yeah.
No one's staring off the TV other than NRL. Like it's genius. Our marketing, they're fucking doing the job. They're killing it.
WWE, the Woodsy's there.
Do you know what I'm saying? Woodsy's fucking killing it. Good on him. That's what I'm saying. We're fucking embedded over there now, right? Imagine in 5 years. It'll probably just wear out.
Because we were there last year.
We'll be there next year too.
Yeah, we were there last year, and it was like, oh, this is new. There'd be a couple of people walking around the casino going, oh, you're the rugby game that's over here. And we're like, yeah.
Why?
This year, they were like, oh, you guys are back again. And then next year,
by
it's
next
like,
year, they're like,
again.
Mace, Lukey, you're back.
You know what they
Grub, yes.
You know what they got to do next year though, and I seen on the news this morning. They got to take bigger clubs. I feel they got to take clubs. I think you said this in the potty with big supporter bases.
Yeah, man.
You take the Dogs. If you took the Dogs this year, I reckon you'd get nearly 30,000, 40,000 Dogs fans there.
Yeah.
I think the Dogs and the Dragons have gone to the NRL as a package. They want to play each other.
I think
that'll rock.
And I think Gus is so smart and very strategic with his stuff, because I think they come to the Dogs first of all because they know about our supporter base. He goes, I'm not taking what we're dishing out on a world scale.
Good call.
He goes, in 2 years, we'll see. Look where we're at now. If we make the finals or some big run like we do this time next year, if we're like a prelim or a grand final sort of team, fuck, mate, you've got 30,000 of the fucking Dogs army going over there. And Grub and I in the middle of all of it.
With the drums.
Fucking beating that shit down Vegas.
Well, the Bulldogs are over there on a fact-finding mission at the moment. Gus is over there now, so they're doing a high-performance thing. You missed that phone call?
High performance?
We're going to find them facts.
I'll find anything in Vegas.
I mean, look at these facts. Look at those numbers.
Look what I'm looking at. Look.
Oh, man.
Another interesting tangent to this conversation as well. It was in the Sydney Morning Herald, last updated 4 o'clock. I think today's Friday. The NRL is considering dividing the assets. So having State of Origin sell that as separate to the current TV deal, which is very interesting.
Oh man, I don't know how much money they're making, man. It's fucking
I think
crazy.
the big curve, like not the curveball, but the interesting one's when DAZN's going to come in off the back of buying.
How will that work?
Foxtel.
DAZN is like streaming like KO. I was trying to work that. So this is just another
Yeah, but they've bought Foxtel.
Foxtel.
Bought
Can you
Foxtel.
explain that, please, to like people at home and myself?
No,
'Cause I don't-
read the
you can't
article.
explain. I did read the article. It
Okay.
still doesn't sink in, Luke. I
No,
need
so
to look
they
at
own it.
Stowe's
So
fucking.
they haven't really announced whether they're going to change the distribution side of it
Yeah.
or if it's going to be consumed within DAZN.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because obviously they're a massive player. They have the NFL rights in some places. They're obviously massive in the boxing space and all this stuff. So it's going to be interesting
So
to
look,
see.
hypothetically, what you're saying is they want to sell Origin. So Nine and Fox have got all the normal games, but for Origin, Netflix can maybe buy Origin.
Correct.
Fucking
Wow.
oath.
Yeah,
And they run it however they want to run it, like they did with the Jake Paul fight and like they did with the NFL on Christmas Day. So
That'd
that
be
can
stupid not
Wow.
to, because you have a look at the revenue. Origin makes up 40% of our revenue, so that's in its own little fucking basket.
Well, wasn't the Jake Paul Tyson fight the most watched ever?
Yes, yeah.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
There you go.
But because Origin is so it's our moneymaker, right?
Yeah.
40% of our revenue is coming from Origin, so you'd be silly not to separate that from the NRL. You go, okay, you can have the NRL, but then you, Netflix or Stan or someone else, DAZN, you can have Origin. You got 40%.
Do you think though, boys, just quickly, like Channel 9 and Fox, they know how to, I suppose, get exposure for Origin. They've done it for years. If Netflix comes in, will they know how to make it good? Will they they got to do play? So say you're playing Origin, right? You got a Netflix guy there, and he's got hardly any idea.
Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna dilute it a bit?
They'll get the right people there.
Okay.
I think they will.
They'd
They're
have
not
to,
silly. Netflix is not silly
They would have
with
to.
the stuff
Yeah,
that
so
they do.
look-
You're not going to put in billions of dollars and not do your research and not have the right people on board when it's Origin. It's going to hire the right people.
Yep.
Could be grubbing.
Blandy said
mates
we'll
on
have a look
Netflix.
at all formats, and that's one of them. The jewel in the crown is Origin. There's other channels interested. Ideally, we'd like it all in one package, but if you look at the NFL and how they do it, they're very successful. We'll analyze it and we'll watch it. Whatever maximizes our return. So Blandy's is a businessman.
Fucking genius. I think we all knew that when he first come in.
All right, boys, I'll get you guys to dive into the games. We'll kick off with the Panthers defeating the Seagulls 38-22.
I'm going to be honest here, punters and grub. Like, this is a game where I was keen for like footy all weekend. Then I realised that the Panthers are going to be in Vegas and they're going to play a pretty much a reserve grade side. And then Manly just did the same pretty much. They played a couple of their young guys. So I watched 60 minutes of this game. It was fucking quality, but like I couldn't really get into it. It was pretty messy.
Yeah. The one thing I will say though, as a Manly. If I'm a Manly supporter, yeah, look, I understand we haven't got our big dogs in. I do understand that, but they still got dusted by they still. Well, Manly had a better team. Manly still had Tokiaho, Kolu, Hopewadi, Brown, Ethan Bullymall's in the team, Corey Waddell, Michael Cheekham, Nathan Brown, Sipley. Like, man, they
had players, mate. They had players. And we had that Panthers. It just shows how strong the Panthers are. And that system, right? You look at your defensive system with Ciro in the last couple of years, you know exactly how it moves. And that's exactly how it moves. So it's embedded from the top all the way through their top 30 into their like SG ball and everything like that. They all move the same way. They come up. They just fucking go in and do exactly the same job, just obviously on a lesser scale of talent and everything like that. But that number 7 who come in there for Panthers just ran around like he was Cleary. The kicks that he was putting on was a clinic. The little grubbers and everything like that, they didn't know what to do. And then they took those players off. That's when Manly started coming back. Because the Panthers could have put a score on them in the first half. That's where I was like, fuck, Manly might be in a little bit of trouble here if they have a couple of injuries with Jakey, Turbo, DCE. If that sort of trio, and odds are one of them won't play a full season.
Well, Cherry, Ches.
And Cherry's fucking 40.
Ches 40.
He's got to be pushing 40.
But gee, I'm still putting him in.
I'm putting him.
He's still top 3 halfback for me.
He is.
Controlling the game. He's
playing with
unbelievable.
He's playing like the game has slowed down to like he's in Harold Matts.
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think, and even like guys like Benny Hunt and Reynolds and that, you look at these guys, like, it's a great time to be a half, like a 7, a natural 7. Same with you, Grub, you're a 6, right? It's changed a little bit there, but to be an actual 7, like, you're pretty. It's
Show me the
it's-
money
it's
if
a-
you're a
yeah.
seven.
It's a
If you're
good.
a good
It's a good
seven.
time to be a 7, right? Because as I was with the 8th on Thursday or Friday, just having a coffee and talking about some shit. He goes, "What a great time!" Like we as older sort of players and guys like Joe, he's one of the greatest players. We just sit there and just so happy with how the game is. Like we just said before, like fuck, the game's in a good spot.
Yep.
It's in a great spot. It's where it should have been 20 fucking years ago. You know what I mean? But like you just didn't have a guy like Volandis. But like he goes, "What a great time to be a half." I said, "Joe, we used to crack you so hard. Like if you went to the line, like he goes, go to the line, you play inside, play outside." He goes, then pass the ball and then get hit and then like just pretty much, and then now you can dig into the line so far. Imagine if him and JT could dig in so far as much as they wanted to without any
Without
smacking
getting
of the
hit late.
ribs and real late. Especially hit Joey late off the ball and everything like that, same as JT, because you could. You could. You get kicked. If you kick a ball and you get touched, imagine guys just screaming, like guys that come from each angle, like trying to destroy Joey or JT, Cooper Cronk, any of those guys played in that era. Now, you touch me, I've got to get a perfect kick in, and you can stand pretty much just to the side, have the perfect line, kick it wherever the fuck you want.
You know
And
what I
like you're just pretty protected now, aren't you?
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. You can just
Yeah.
tell with the kickers, they're more confident and
Yeah,
they can go into the line.
They're like, touch me. I dare you.
I dare ya.
Please,
Yeah.
please hit me in the ribs.
I found it interesting that Trent Tolau
Is it Tolau?
Tolau, yeah.
Tolau,
all right.
yeah. So it's
It's not Talau like Willie
Yeah, that's
Talau and like,
Tolau?
was it Tolau? T-O-L.
Toela.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right. I'll,
Let us know in the comments,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, sweet. So Trent
keeper.
Tolau, I was surprised he had a great game. And Penrith always use a 14 on the bench. So I was actually surprised he didn't go over to Vegas. He didn't go Vegas. So
Who would be the Schneider? I think Schneider would be the 14.
Schneider, yeah,
think he's played-
he played really well last year.
Yeah, and I think
off
he's
the
got a little-
bench, but gee, for a young guy, from what I've seen in
How
that
old
game,
is he, you reckon? Is he just coming out of Flegg or like SG Ball? Is he that young, or has he been around the block a couple of times? I'm
Nah,
not sure.
he looks young,
He
man.
must be
Talau?
young.
Trent Tolau, yeah,
I liked him. I think he really ran that shit like it was.
He's 25, 99.
See? He's not young. But
Yeah.
if you go off what Gus said on our podcast, he's like, you're not really ruling it out to like 24, 25. So
Yeah.
he's probably on his last hurrah. So I thought he was a lot younger. And this is why he's probably doing shit like this at that level.
he looks young.
That's what I was thinking. So there's a reason why. So he hasn't played first grade. He might have been injured, or there's some sort of story there. Let us know in the comments what his ride's been like, because I rated him big time. Their centers, the wingers, look at their wingers and centers,
man.
just fucking move good. Their big middles move good. Just a good outfit, man, and a good outfit.
All right, next game out at Leichhardt. It was a double header out there. Tigers defeated the Parramatta Eels. Little yarn. I was standing on the hill underneath the
Were you
Wayne
there?
Pierce sign. I was
Nice.
there. I could hear these blokes screaming. I was like, "What's going on here?" It was the first.
No way.
Next to Thurston.
Yeah.
He was there on the hill just loving it. It seemed like a good bloke. It was good atmosphere, a bit of drizzle out there. I reckon they would have had more people there given it was a double header
Yeah,
and
it's
whatnot, but the
terrible.
rain sort of killed
Yeah.
it for a lot of people. But good day, good to start the year out at Leichhardt like that.
That was as I said, that game there compared to the first one. This is when you know, like the NRL level compared to like the New South Wales Cup level. That was brutal. There's some hitters out there, man. The Parramatta team, like it was, they went after that game. Both of them, young kids, and especially at that level when you didn't have Moses, you didn't have Brown or anything like that. And who was the halves for Para?
Halves of Para were Volkman and
Volkman?
Twiddle. The young upper Twiddle. Yeah, that was the difference for me. I think Galvin and Dewey had a blinder. Dewey was on fire.
What do you do with Dewey?
Well, Brett Naden looks to he dislocated his kneecap. So, but Dewey put his hand up if as halfback. He's not going to play halfback, but Jerome Luai is definitely there. But he had a game. But that's just Dewey, isn't it? I feel he plays fairly well everywhere,
Yeah,
which is sometimes isn't a good thing for you.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
But I would assume going off Brett Naden. It depends on scans, because apparently they were saying on the commentary that you can dislocate your kneecap, but it come back into place and be okay.
Yeah, it just depends on the structural damage. Like he'll have to go for MRIs and that this week, or he probably has been through it. So you'll see this week if there's any. You can't just pop the amount of force to get your kneecap out. Come on, it's got to be some sort of structural damage. Hopefully it's just
gotta
not
be
massive.
something.
Hopefully it's not massive for Naden.
They hope for 8 weeks.
What? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's
It's
better.
still-
It's better than an ACL.
Correct.
It's better than that. So
I reckon I'd know one guy that you would have been happy with, May. Tyrell May.
fuck
Wow.
Yeah. looks like a different human.
Man, he looks trim.
Fuck, he looks good, man. I was a bit hesitant. I'm like, oh, is this the right decision? He's going to go there. He's going to be the man. How fucking many minutes does that kid play? He doesn't tire. Like, he didn't tire last year, and he's probably about 6 kilos heavier.
Unbelievable. Like when I was watching him, there was a time where he had a great hit up. He found his front. The commentators were talking about him. They hadn't stopped talking about him. There was a hit up. He had the next hit up.
Another one. He did another one.
Unbelievable.
He took the first and then he took the third. Yeah,
And-
I think I was so happy with that kid.
And then he got Pole. Yeah. He looked fit as well, coming off that left footer. I think the Tigers, everyone, I think attacking wise, that they were a little bit. This is the thing with Galvin.
Yeah.
I feel. I love him. He has lots of touches. He broke the line a few times. He's always probing.
Yep.
But the one thing was their try line attack. I just think, that they did score a few tries off kicks, but I think the guy that solves that problem and squares them straight up from the start is Appy.
Yeah.
Appy is the
all
most,
from the nine.
the squarest hooker I've ever seen.
Yep.
His deception is unbelievable. But, I'm just excited to see Jerome.
Yeah.
Lua, I just don't know. I don't know how they're going to play. I'm really excited to see the style they play.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the front guy?
I don't know. Does Galvin hang on that left? Because Luai's the dude who does that.
He's the left guy, man.
He's the left guy.
Yeah.
Traditionally, I know he's shown glimpses of, like, when Cleary's been out, him running the whole side. But then sometimes someone would come in at 7 over there and he just still play on that left edge. He doesn't really cross over. So that gets me. I'm like, where does Luai fit or where does Galvin fit when they're both on the field? And I think when you go back to Appy, how he's squaring up, and obviously it's so important when Appy comes out to square the markers up and to hold the A in when the lead runner has to do that as well.
Yep.
That's very important. That's what the teams like Penrith and that do. When they run that lead line, he's holding A and markers so that Appy can come out, hold them both, and then you can get around the back, right?
Yep.
If you don't square those guys up with those two players, the markers just check, release, and then there's
Straight up.
you know how much people are hunting from the inside. So little things like that, I think Appy will square that up, but I don't know how. When Luai, I don't know how it looks with Luai.
I'm keen to see it.
I want to see it. I want to see what they've. Obviously, that's not how they look because he's not there. And I'm like, I couldn't picture it.
Yeah.
I can't picture it in my head. Does Galvin move around? I think Luai has that in his toolkit.
I reckon
he can bounce wherever he wants.
I reckon they do. I honestly reckon, and they'll hate me saying this, but I reckon Luai might play like Nath does. I reckon Luai might just skip both sides because
I want to see that.
I reckon he will because you got Galvin, who's a runner.
Yeah.
You got Galvin, and then you got. Who's the fullback? No, it'll be Buller.
Yeah.
So
That looks like a totally different side if you add those pieces in. If everyone just does their work in the middle and their back five's pretty good and everything, you add Buller, you add Appy, and you put Luai in there. I think they're all right. They're all right.
Also, boys, Mace used to come off the back fence. But did you see Royce Hunt coming off the back fence
I was there, yeah.
at Leichhardt? Oh
great.
my god!
He was kicking off. He was kicking off the
He
fence.
started with me and Drummoyne and then went straight there.
He was on the light
He
rail.
was on, yeah. It was great.
Oh, he looks up. If I want to see Royce Hunt and May just a 1-2 hit. You know, I need Royce to play some big minutes. I need him to play a 20-minute stint. And a quality stint, not the last 5 minutes his ass is hanging out. I need 20, 25-minute stints, you know what I mean? If he wants to go to that next level in his game, because there's no doubt that he can play. Look at him. He's built for the game, mate. He's fucking quick leg speed. He moves well, built like a fridge, good footwork, hits like a truck. He's just got to add a few things to his game. But if he adds fitness, which should be the main thing, because football's not a problem, he could be a problem. He could be a big problem. And I think that's what they're trying to get in. Because if he's going to play off the bench, I'm not sure if he's going to start. He needs to come on and make some noise like a Spencer Leniu. That's the barometer there, is Spencer. I need you to be like Spencer.
Yeah.
Anyone who's coming on the bench, I need you to make some noise like Spencer. You know, that's what you got to pick those sort of players. So I think he's the perfect guy.
Yeah, he's a beast. And you're right, though. He's got to turn into a player that I think he needs more minutes. I think he needs to be on there and show Benji that he can be that guy. But let's go over to the other side, Mace. Probably two big talking points, boys. What's your thoughts on Lomax back to the centres and Iongi at fullback?
Oh, Iongi, that fucking what he did from that scrum, I was like, the balance and everything, like his skin, Dewey. I love Dewey watching replay. Just look back. He looked back at someone to blame. I'm like, I think he looked at De Silva. He's like, fucking tackle him. Because you know when I knew where he was coming from because he got skinned, right? And you want your guys who are in front of Iongi to make the fucking tackles, right? And you can see him not going full tilt because he thought De Silva had him. And then he just got out of the tackle and he wasn't at it. And I could see that's why he looked back at you fucking... But that's just show of strength, pace, speed, balance. It was a beautiful try.
You know what's going to create too for Parramatta, I feel, and I love Gutho, probably one of my favourite players. I love his support. I love his energy. But having Iongi out the back of Mitch Moses and Dylan Brown when they're going screwing to the line, but he can throw those 3-on-2 long balls and pick it. Yeah. He looks like a guy that he reminds me a little bit of. Remember Darius Boyd at the Dragons?
Yeah, Dubs, killed it.
He could not get a 3-on-2 wrong.
Yeah. Every
single time he got it right, he sort of looks like that. So that's going to add another, dimension to Parramatta's spine and attack. Gutho used to get the ball, on a wide forward and have his two centres, have his centre and back rower going through him, try to play over the top. But Iongi, man, you can just see. He just waits, he feels, he sees what the centre's doing, he sees if the winger, and he throws the right pill. Well, from what I've seen, 90% of the time.
Yeah, and he's looking at those cues too, when it's just 3-on-2. Like it looks easy. He makes it look easy, right? A lot of players fuck those sort of plays up. He just goes bang. Is the wingers coming up? Is he dropping back like to go short, to go long? Guys like Joey and JT and all the great ball players, they make that shit look easy. But a fullback, if you've got that, like Jared Hayne used to do that unreal.
Man.
That's what he sort of got vibes of. Like he's got that sort of skill set where he's a fullback. He's so quick, so fast. Strong, good skill set. So, like, he's like that.
What about Lomax, mate? He had 38 run meters. I feel he didn't really get into the game too much. He tried to get a bit of early ball of Volkman one. He put it right out in front of him. This has been the biggest conversation over the preseason.
Yeah.
Lomax has gone to Para to be a centre. But for me personally, and look, Zach wants to be a centre, but for me, he's the best winger in the game when he plays. Yeah. Like up there.
I need him with 20 touches a game.
20.
Because 5 or 6 are going to be like dynamic.
Runs.
That's what I mean. Because he's playing at centre. Because the winger's going to come in on the play twos. He doesn't. So play 3, he could be in the middle of the field and then you have a bit of a shot. So he's out of the game.
Yeah.
Just straight away, because you're not going to go back to the short side, are you, when you're coming out of yardage? That you rarely do that. So if he's not taking the play twos, he's out of that whole set, and that's the problem. And that was his problem when he was playing centre. He could come in and out of games unless you're firing on all cylinders and everything's going great in the left, playing right side centre too. People don't like firing that left to right ball. They can't do it as good as the other side, so you're not going to get the lion's share of the ball. You have to be the best defensive centre in the game to be the right side centre because everybody loves passing that way. So he's got that ticked because he's a gun defender. But you want to see him with the ball.
Strong.
I can't just rely on fucking getting in good field position. So just say Parramatta on the back foot the whole time. You're never getting in a position where you can run and do those plays like he was doing that last year. So that's all predicated on you getting on the front foot. And I just think, say him being on the wing and coming in at play twos and everything like that, I think you got to have a look at that, Rolsey. Yeah, because you need him. I want him getting the ball like 20 times.
I think for Zach, what he wants is he just wants that early ball. You could tell a few times he tried to get it and just come off that right and do his thing. But it's a hard one because that's what Zach wants. And look, he's gone to Para for that. But there's going to be a time if Parramatta aren't going great and Rolsey feels he's not getting the carries out of the backfield that he needs. You know what I mean? Like so who's their wingers? You got Sean Russell. He's got an okay carry in him, but he's not your big body. He's not a Micah Sevo who used to get him out of trouble back 100%. In the day. So they need a strong. And then you got Jake Tago on the other wing, who's same strongish carry, but it's not a Lomax carry when he's.
So I said their back five is probably going to let him down. And when you play against, they're going to be good against other teams, but like the top 4, top 6 teams, you're going to struggle against.
At our best, well, not our, but at Parramatta's best, they'd have Simonson, and then when Fox comes back.
Oh, of course. And then
it's going to be hard. Like Fox's play twos carries aren't as dynamic as like Sevo's and all that. Like he's fucking Fox. Get him in the clear. Like he's a finisher.
Ferrari.
Yeah, like you need that. And then you don't think you're buying Fox for fucking play twos. He's finishing your shit off.
What about Jack Williams? He's come across from Cronulla and he's been thrown straight into the leadership. What sort of does that say about the locker room? Jason Rolls putting him in that position, and how does he fit into the team?
think it says a lot about his leadership when coming from Jason Rolls and Fitzgibbon and Fitzy are good mates. Played a lot of footy together. They would have had a lot of communication over the last couple of years, especially with Jack Williams going to Para, and he would have asked what he's like. So he said what he's like in the locker room, and he's probably proved that. So you don't just go there because Fitzy says, you're a fucking great leader. You need to see that.
Yep.
He's probably won all the things. He looks like one of those guys who wins everything, all the metrics that you need. He goes above and beyond. So he's earned it. And he's earned his starting spot.
He's a beast. And I think Jack Williams at the Sharks, even a lot of the time. Last year, he had a month where he was on fire.
Yeah.
He should have started, but for some reason, Fitzy just wouldn't start him. I don't know what it is. Maybe he liked his impact off the bench, but like you said, he's always that guy. He never misses tackles. He's always so solid. But now, for some reason, I look at Jack Williams, and in a Parramatta team when they, let's just say hypothetically, Mitch Moses plays Origin this year again, if he does, whether it's 5'8" or halfback, Jack Williams could take that captaincy role.
Yeah.
He just looks like a leader, doesn't he? I just think he does.
Yeah.
Everything he does on the field, he leads by example. He runs hard. He's
one of those guys in the locker room that just does everything right.
Everything
right, regardless what team he's in.
Right, next game, fellas. We touched on this a little bit with one of the YouTube questions. The Dragons defeat Souths 46-26.
Fuck, that was a touch-up. That was like South probably still coming back from that, the Cam Murray loss. You know what I mean? Like just having him out on the field, you can see what he brings, right? All the cleanup around the ruck, but like they need to fix a lot of things up because that St George left side looks sharp. Val looks so sharp. Your winger scored 4 tries, I think. All because of Val and the space that they were getting out there.
It's unbelievable.
They look good, man. St George look tough, big, strong, but with those little bits of Gutho and Val Holmes, like that's adding just that little bit of like extra talent that they needed. Val looks sharp, and think that he's not. People sort of go, oh, he's left Cowboys. He's didn't win Origin last year, lost his test spot. You do that to a fucking grown ass man who's about that. He's going to fucking go to that next club, and you're going to get the best football out of that guy. That's what you've got. Gutho, you slept on him. You're saying that he's old. You're this, that. He's going to go to this fucking St George and give you about 2 or 3 good years and get you over the hump a little bit. So they've bought right. Those guys are fucking mentally on point. Cookie, how crisp did they look? It's very slept on, the delivery from Damien Cook.
Yep.
Fucking 20, 30 metre dimes when you're moving out there. Boom, straight out in front, never, ever behind. Look how crisp they look from that. You want to quick play the ball? Cookie's going straight through your ruck.
Something so small, Mace.
Littlest things, right?
See.
Yeah, I look. I went, oh, why do they look so sharp? Oh, fuck, Cookie's there. he does that, right? He's going to test your middles. He's going to come out. He's still the quickest 9 in the game. He is lightning. He got held up at South because South's front rows and middles were getting dominated. You dominate the middle with South. Been saying for years. You dominate the middle with South. Damien Cook doesn't run.
Yeah.
Half your battle won.
He's it.
Now you get quick play the balls through the middle with Cookie, he'd be off again.
I remember back when Cookie was at South and when he was going good was when that South were rolling, he was just jumping out. Melbourne couldn't stop him. I remember this one game, I can't remember if it was a semi or he demolished Melbourne through the middle because South were rolling. But that's the thing. Unfortunately, South stopped and Cookie, he had to, because that's the thing. When you're playing at hooker, it was like me. When I got thrown into hooker, all I was thinking about was run because it was a great opportunity, lazy forwards around the ruck. But if the line's set and your forwards aren't ditting the line, you can't run. What are you going to do? Run and just get hammered by the markers. It's just not on. But Sione Finau, I actually hope he's all right. He got taken off with that heat stroke. He looked
was it heat stroke?
Yeah, man.
I thought it was a head knock.
No, I think it was a bit of both. I think I actually think he was gone. I think he got hit. But at the same time, in the commentary, they said it was after. I think they said he had a bit of heat stroke.
Okay, I hope he's all right, yeah.
4 tries. He looked unbelievable.
He's going to score some tries outside Val.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, there you go. Put it down, big boy.
And then also on that left edge, for me, I mentioned it before, Cole had a really good game, but it was his sweep lines that were getting South. So
can you break that down a little bit more?
Yeah.
Sweep lines. So just say you get to right post or left post, where would you rather get to?
So let's just say
going
because Flano
way,
was going on the left, on the up, so they were getting to right post and they were just playing, it was Jack DeBellum playing nice and square into the line, playing out the back, but it was Flano's line. So what it was, so you can either be really, really flat or really deep, right? If you're flat and South's centre, say it was Isaiah Tass, he would feel he could get to Flano. So he's going, you know what, he's shallow, I'm going to jam. But what was happening was instead of your natural lead line with Gutho out the back, what Gutho was doing was he was enticing them. He was enticing the centres to come. So what it was centre come, tip to Gutho there, and then Gutho would be just tipping to Val Holmes and then tipping to the winger. It was so smart. Sometimes it doesn't work. If you haven't got good, quick hands.
Yeah, Luch was there as well. Luch has got soft, beautiful hands.
Well, Luch is pretty much the leader of that edge, I think.
Yeah, he is. No,
he's the ball player.
Yep.
Even though Flano looked really good.
In that little
ball
tip
playing,
back, you know what I mean? Not many players are going to do that. They'll probably just let it go. He's like, boom, there you go. Nice soft hands.
They've got really nice. That's why I like the Dragons. They've got nice edges. The only thing is teams will realise. So you've got Moses Sully and then you've also got Jaden Sewer on the right, and they're just bang, bang, bang. They're creating the quick play the balls, and then the left is the classy side. But I just feel sometimes they're going to have to mix it up. Lockie Ilias is going to have to step up and take a few on that right, you know, little block plays and whatnot. But gee, that left edge looked crisp.
Yeah,
really
it reminds me of like little South sort of vibes back like 4 or 5 years ago when they were just doing enough on the right side. Quick play the balls, Cookie comes out, boom. I think it's because of Cook. I think it's give me vibes because the Cookie's coming out. He's just slinging that ball. Looks good, man. Gutho looks good. Just look really dangerous. I'm like, you got to be a really good defensive team to stop that because you got to be fucking like your 3-man and your 2-man need to be on point. Your middles need to work their asses off, which South have. They don't really have good middles putting pressure on anybody from marker A or B. What do you like that? If you're a ball player, if you see no pressure, you're digging in the line. You're doing what you want. You're coming across and dummy here. Like, dude should be getting cracked.
Time.
It gives you time. And then it puts more pressure on your 3-man and your 2-man because the middles aren't working. And I think that's where South will come undone a lot.
And I think they did, mate. I wanted to give a rap to the Couchman brothers.
Yeah,
I thought they were unreal. They're going to be, you can tell they're going to be at the Dragons for a long time. I thought Emre Gula, he really set the platform coming over from, same sort of deal, guy that's come over from Canberra, like probably behind a few of their big boppers come over, and he's the man now at the Dragons. I feel they laid the platform and pretty much just ran straight through South. Yep. They absolutely did. And then, boys, look, I don't like bringing this up because I know how hard it is to be a half in the NRL, but you know, there's already pressure on Lewis Dodd. There's pressure straight away because he's come from England. Straight away. And he's got, there's been some big raps in him. I played against Lewis in the Super League. Man, he absolutely dusted me one game. When I say dusted, I mean took me on left foot step, got done. Left foot kick into the corner. It was unbelievable. He controlled the game. But this is when St. Helens were hot. St. Helens won however many comps they won, three on the trot, and he was behind that pack, and you got Knowles and Wolves, like they were unbelievable. But he comes over here, he's had 2 games where, you know, he hasn't really been in the game. He's playing on the right side for a left foot kicker, which is so hard, so hard. But now you get a guy, so this is the bad thing for Dodd. He gets 10 in the bin, which was weird. Do you remember what happened?
Yeah,
it was like a late.
They're doing that now. They tried it out in the trials, didn't they?
And so he got 10 in the bin at half time.
Yeah,
but it was 8 minutes prior to the half.
Yeah, they should take that minutes off.
So, but then comes on Jamie Humphries, who, man, he was solid. He was solid in the game, and he's got an ass bigger than Joey. so Dodd misses round 1.
Yeah.
Humphries has a big game. What happens there, Mace?
Yeah. I don't know. Wayne will stick with the guy. Humphries, if he's tried well and he's doing good at training and he's doing a job, and if they win, that's the biggest thing. That round 1 is going to be a different game. I'm not sure if Latrell's going to be fit.
No, he's out.
If Cody's going to be fit.
Latrell's out for sure.
You know what I mean? Those 2 missing plus our
Latrell's
man.
got 8 weeks.
8 weeks? When we're sitting here going, was it that bad? This is grade 2. It's massive. Just puts him back, that hard work and how good he was going.
I know.
It just happens, man. It sucks. South, I can just see South just falling
And then
apart
when's
this
Origin? What, round 12?
Yeah. I don't think he should even be looking at Origin, man.
Play Origin.
I'm just thinking it's a
No.
selfish
Nah, it's
blues
in
fan.
like no, absolutely.
Game
like,
2 or something. If he's had 6 or 7 games under his belt, maybe, and if we need him, he's just like the SOS. If we need him, come on, Latrell, get us a game here, and
he's like the cheat code.
He's a cheat code. We got Latrell back for game 2 or 3. We're going to win this one. I feel for South. So I just looked at that roster and went, it's going to be a hard year. I don't care the Wayne Bennett factor. I know Wayne's there, and I love him to death, but like, he can't do much with that.
Now, you said before the show, I think you might have said at the beginning, a bit deflated off the back of that news this week.
Yeah, Cam Murray. It's not good news for the game, let alone you've been playing with this guy and you've been loving him for a couple of years, been training with him, playing with him. You're like fucking devastated for that guy because it ain't a normal injury. And Achilles, every time an Achilles goes down, ACL, you're like, oh, man, you saw it when we were just like, you shouted for the guy. And Cam Murray's in your top 3 best players, favourite player in the game.
Easy.
You know what I mean? Everyone just loves the guy.
Well, look, Mace, Loz said that he was in his 17 in the bunker. He said, and that's a big call.
And that's regardless of if he's had the worst. If he's had the worst year of his life, he's in the 17 because he just demands respect, and you know he's going to do a job for you week in, week out, and he does a lot of that clean-up shit, and no one really notices the analytics when you're talking about that. You put it on Cam Murray and see how much he does off the ball.
He's Mr. Analytics.
Oh, he's the analytics personified. I don't think they've really gotten over that yet.
I think the one thing, and this is where now it is so hard for South to figure out their identity, right? Because you lose Latrell for 8 weeks, which is so hard. You got Latrell in your team, you're going to be in the game at some stage. Your attack's going to be on a lot of the time. But now everyone's calling for Tallis Duncan to step up. I love Tallis Duncan. He's going to be a great player. But they're comparing him to Murray right now. They're comparing him to Murray right now, and because that's where I think South struggled on the weekend. Cam Murray gets in the ditches between A, but then at the same time he'll go directly at B to play at the back. South play nice and square. They earn the right to go on that left edge. Yeah. They earn the right for Cody Walker and Latrell to do that. But at the moment, with Sullivan and Dodd on the weekend, they couldn't get any ascendancy, could they?
And as I said, when you can do that, what he does, Cam Murray, he does it like Victor Radley.
Yep.
Like if your middles don't have to really work that hard and they can just check, release, it just puts more pressure on you. So it's going to be a hard one.
Mace, who I was very impressed with. Two guys that we haven't spoken about and we haven't really been speaking about. Mamazulis and Jai Gray. Two of the young guys.
Yeah. They come back because of those guys.
They were the best players on the field. Them two, they must have played together in the juniors.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see if we can get there because he was jumping out on the right-hand side, coming off his right foot, and Drygrave was right there. That's a combo.
Yeah, and I look at that and go, how did they end up coming back in the game? Because of those two.
Yeah.
And they got some respect on the board and everyone's sort of going, South's not too bad, but I look at that first 40 minutes like we're going to get to in the next game with the Bulldogs and Broncos and go, that's your real deal side going up against another real deal side. So when you pull all your starters off and everything like that, and then you take them off the field as well. So it's very difficult.
I've actually got a question for you. I see. Did you boys see Wayne at halftime?
Yeah.
It was like he.
I don't care about trials,
he
man.
He sort of said something, but it was like he was like, can we hurry up? Can we get back on the field? Yeah. You could tell the boys were looking for something to say, but he kept looking, going are we back out here? It's like he didn't want to say anything and he's just over it.
He's over it.
He doesn't like
trials at all. I remember playing underneath him. He'd 30 minutes, get on there, go mad, and then you're done.
Yeah,
that was it. So Jeremy Smith and Bo Scott, Dubs, myself, Kurt Gidley, you just go in and you're like, you do your job. He goes, is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. One trial, then fucking get into round one.
Well, Broncos take out the preseason challenge back-to-back years.
Oh, well done, Bronx.
Over your Bulldogs,
we did it.
30-14. No team that's won the preseason cup has made the top 8.
It's going to be fucking hoodoo now. No one's going to want to win it. No one's going to want to win it. Well done, boys.
Yes.
It's like winning the
Enjoy
JJ
Gillen. Boys, little recap on this game. What are your thoughts?
I like what the Broncos look like. They look sharp. They look big, strong. I thought the Bulldogs looked big, strong. They were on par. But they just really capitalised on a couple of little things, the Broncos, and we missed a couple of little cues in defence, which Ciro would have been. It's easily fixable, right? So I'm not really worried about that game. It was pretty on point. But the Bronx, in the second half, Bulldogs made a little bit of a comeback. Broncos scored a couple of late tries and put it to bed. But with games like this, you just go off the first sort of 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and then just sort of go, all right, that's not a real show of what this game could be like because of people going off. I think Birdo, I'm not sure, he's a little bit underdone. He missed a couple of assignments there, which I know what Ciro likes, so do you, Grub. Defensively, but, they ran hard, they tackled hard, they worked hard, they looked Bulldogs-esque. But the Broncos just, they look sharp, man. They look hard to tackle. They look fit. Payne Haas and Carrigan, and that played 30 minutes.
Is that all?
Yeah, fuck all, I think. And it was
Wow.
like, look what they did in those minutes. And that's what scares me. And Hetherington was just fucking buckling everyone in the middle. Ricky, they had some really big boys, but they look like fucking Broncos at like 2000. It's fucking scary.
Can I put out a massive statement here, boys?
Of course.
Ben Hunt, Dally M.
You reckon?
Oh, man. He's going to be scary
He
behind
just
that
looked
pack.
like he was playing with fucking house money.
He looked mucked around. He looked like he was mucking around.
And Reynolds as well. It looked like they were playing fucking SG ball together. I'm not saying that the talent-wise, it just looked like how comfortable they
but it's
look.
nothing against the Bulldogs
How comfortable they look like when they're running out. I'm just like, oh, fucking hell, take it serious, boys.
They're both 34. Like
34, 35, I think. You're just going,
man.
I've played 300 games. I know what a fucking trial game is. Let's just get through this shit. But both teams are impressive. Both teams look like they're going to go on some big runs this year.
You know, looked hungry. Selwyn Cobbo.
He did.
He looked like he was out to prove a point, man. Like, I haven't seen him defend like that ever. Like, when's he ever got a whack in him?
It's the match factor, man.
He was whacking people.
Yeah,
man.
he looked angry. He looked strong, like motivated. And so did Katoni. That's why I was disappointed. But I know what the Broncos are like with his soft tissue injuries. He looked fucking... You see when he was in the sheds and they had the camera on him?
Oh, man.
What is that guy? Like, what is he, 24, 25? He'd be just at one of those raw power, fucking deadlift 200 fucking 50
easy.
kilos easy on his warm-up. So Broncos look good, man. I'm not sure what they do with the 9. I think they just stay with the Pakes kid.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see the teams. It'd be really interesting. I think their starting side's already set.
Yep.
But the bench, you know, what do you do with Walters? What do you do with a couple of other guys? Willison, you know, like a couple of those big boys. They got about 23, 24 players to go into that, probably 2 or 3 spots.
You know what was... I'll speak about the Dogs for a sec, but one more thing on the Broncos. When the halves went off, Jock Madden, he was great. He took that little line on, and I think
he got Birdo sliding out.
It's just that's depth as well. And the one thing that I was happy to see for the Dogs, and I thought he was our best player, Kurt Mann.
Yeah, he's
we
an
missed him.
animal, mate.
We missed him last year.
Yeah, the back end,
just
right?
in the middle, coming off his left foot, right foot, playing nice and square in that Cam Murray role, and we need that. I really think the side that we've got. We need to play. Yep. We got a few big boppers. We've got Hughes.
I thought Hughes was really
Hughesy
good.
was good.
Yep.
Hughesy was good. But I just think Kurt Mann dictating, having that role, he was really, really good. But Broncos are going to be very hard.
It'll be hard. They just look the part. You know when the Broncos are taking their shit serious, when they just come out there with those sort of jerseys, they just look like they were ready to play. This wasn't a trial game for them. And I think that's the Madge factor as well. I think he just gets people up for any game, anywhere. So I think it can be dangerous, man. But what do you think of the Dogs? I'm not even going to look at this game and go, because they both put out their best sets.
Yeah,
and it was pretty even for a while. The Broncos just scored some pretty good tries, but they're tries that we should stop, and they'll stop them in the rounds.
And the tries that were scored on the edges were a couple of the young boys like coming in,
Exactly.
and that's the thing, and that's repetition.
And that's like you trust Critter.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like, just say Johnny Sewell, like, sitting on the edge there, like, you've got the best defensive right centre in the game. He's going to make
Just
that
follow
tackle.
him.
Yeah, but, like, you either come in with him or you stay on your man. You know, like, trust it. When it's man on, you hug the sideline, mate.
Yeah.
And they're the rules there, you know. So, but you get caught in those predicaments in the game. It's a fucking hard one to call.
Yeah.
So some of those tries, easily, it was just miscommunication and just misreads.
I reckon the one thing for the Dogs I really liked was Sexto taking the line on. He had a real intent to run first, and I love that. And it is a trial as well, but our coast to coast footy, that's how we beat teams last year.
That's how we got the Bronx last year.
The Bronx last year. We smoked them.
I reckon back in the back of their head, they're still filthy at that.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fucking absolute hammering at Suncorp. How good was that?
We'll be good. We'll be sweet.
Yeah, I'm not worried. We look good. We look sharp. We look strong. We look fit. But they end up getting us. So
All right, next one, boys. Titans 26 defeat the Dolphins 18.
this is a confusing game. I don't know. I mean, not a confusing. I'm still confused with the Titans, and they just look sharp as hell. Brimo fucking just proves makes everyone look like idiots. He can play 6, but it's like he was playing fullback. It's like you got 3 fullbacks out there at the same time. Keanu Kinney looks like, you know, he looks like Anthony Milford in 2012 and 13 before he went to the Bronx. You remember that? Do you remember that version?
Freaky.
Was just scary, and that's what Kinney looks like to me. Fucking Campbell looked good. Everyone looked pretty good, man. They look pretty. Tino, well done on Tino coming back. He looked like he hadn't missed a fucking beat.
He's a beast, man.
Jeez, played big minutes, and he was just I'm just good to see him get back and get through those trials.
The one thing I I loved seeing this Titans spine play together. Like, it was literally like having three fullbacks on the field. They all knew where they were. Keeney's unbelievable. Primo's saying they were popping up everywhere. But what scares me, boys, is, all right, so the Titans, everything was going good on the weekend. Everything was going good. They didn't have to kick long. Who's kicking long out of those? Well, it's if those two are the halves. I don't think Jaden Campbell's got a big game, and I don't think Brimo's got a big game. I also think if you're playing against the Melbourne Storm, you're playing against the Broncos that don't give you many opportunities. This is an attacking side. So if Jaden Campbell is having to make 20 tackles, Brimo's having to make 20 tackles, are they still going to be like that?
Exactly. That's what I look at. I don't get caught up in this fucking hype. Oh, they look so sharp. Yeah, because the flip side is you play against the Panthers, or you play against the Broncos, or some top 4 team that's going to strangle you to death. Do you know what I mean? Or Melbourne. You know, it's a totally different look what they're looking at. Like, they're in different field position, and like everything just worked out for the Titans. They look great. This is what the Titans will look like majority of games. But you know what the game's like? It just flips on its head. Momentum changes, and you're on the back foot. And then what are you going to do?
Would that be your spine, Grub? We've spoke about it a few times.
What are you doing?
Foz is out for 8 weeks. He
right.
tore his bicep. For me personally, I'm having to have Foz there at some point to steer the ship. Because I could be proven wrong, but I just don't think you can play that style of footy. Let's call it 5'8" footy. Yeah. Because Brimson's a fullback / 5'8". Yep. Campbell's a 5'8" all day / fullback. Keeney's a fullback.
Yep.
It's going to be that type of eyes up footy, playing what you see all the time. And look, man, they might prove us wrong. They might prove me wrong and play a style of footy we've never seen before. No. But for me, with Foz, how he plays, Foz is a 5'8" turned into a half. Yep. Kicking the corners, thinking about his kicking game more, playing nice and square, opening up opportunities for these guys out the back. I personally would have to have, and they've had this conundrum for years. Yeah. Where do you put Brimson? 14, didn't work. Centre, didn't work. So what do you do? But for me, if I was going to play, I would go Foz 7, Campbell 6, Keeney 1, and Brimson 14. But Brimson doesn't deserve to be a 14.
No,
he doesn't.
This is what I've been sitting on for a year. I'm just like, Brimson's is a fullback in my eyes.
Yeah.
But Kinney's just made Desi just play his hand. He's forced his way in there. And I'm just like, oh well. It's made his decision a lot easier with Foz. Where Foz having to play in the middle. No wonder he's fucking busted his bicep. Shove him in the middle. Shove the oldest bloke out
Come
there
on, Des.
In the middle, Des. What are you fucking doing?
Have to look after
You're
him.
trying to fucking get him retired. I looked at that. I went, don't even fucking trial me. Just put me. You know what I mean? Like, he put me in the middle against the Dolphins. These young bucks are just fucking tearing at his inside shoulders, and Fozzie's just too much of a fucking dog to even like lay down or do it. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't taking any plays off. He just goes in there. He's like, gets beat on his inside fucking shoulder. Bang, flies out with his right. Like, he don't care. This is what happens. This is why he's had so many injuries. He's too tough for his own good. Take that out of his hands.
You know what? I was totally agree with you, Desi. Come on,
fuck
get him
me,
off.
Des.
What's your thoughts on the Dolphins pack? So they've obviously got Daniel Saifidi now. He's new to the pack. It looks like Kafusi's going to be their starting front rower. Tommy Gilbert's back. Max Plath was unbelievable last year. For the pack, you look at that and you're like, they should get momentum. Yeah. But on the weekend, what was it?
They didn't get any. The field position looked awful. They looked scrappy. The Gold Coast had the heap of the ball, field position and everything like that. They just weren't, every time they were coming out, it was their back five. And then they were on the kick chase. And when you get caught in that washing machine, you feel like the game just goes fucking straight by you. So you need to get some, and that's where momentum is so hard to get back, right? With the middle, just say if you got the ball like 10 years ago, we're on the back foot and, someone just kick it out. And you walk to a scrum and reset. When you can get caught in that washing machine for like 10 minutes and you've touched the ball twice, it's fucking bad.
That's the game now,
That's the game now. That's the game where some players go, oh, you didn't have a real dominant game to some middles. It's like, well, there was that 10 minutes where we just got run off our feet against a really good side. And the next minute you get replaced. You get to like 20, 25, 30 minutes. It's fucking game over.
But that's when you see the the Titans not doing that every game.
That's what I mean.
If they don't get that. But if they do, they'll be the best at it.
That was a game when there was like front foot. We're gonna get you somehow because we've got too much
Titans.
talent, and we're like, but that's Titans football. Yep. That's what they've pretty much been known for right now. It's the flip side whether they can handle that, and hopefully they can with Tino back there. They've got a fucking fair pack too. Fafita played hardly any minutes. You still got Fodawaker, Tino. Who's the 12? The young kid. Who's the 12? I forget his name. The back rower. He's a gun.
For more.
He's a gun. Both
I
of
thought you
them.
said the Dolphins as well.
No,
I was like-
Titans.
Oh,
yeah,
Titans,
he's a
yeah,
gun. Like, he's a gun.
Yeah,
And then you got like,
he's a freak.
I think they've got a really well balanced side. Their back five can get you out of trouble. It's just if they can do the flip side, and when they're on the back foot,
It's the D.
I don't think they've got a problem. They're going to be all right.
Yep, agreed.
Anyway,
Right, we'll move quickly on to the next game,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
If you finish this one.
yeah, we're done with that one.
Yeah,
We're
beauty.
done.
This one we the
We only got
next
2
one,
to go. We'll just get
Knights
through them easy.
Roosters. We did touch on Kalen and
Yeah, we
Fletcher
did.
Sharp earlier. We'll start with Phoenix Crossland starting hooker. Do you guys like what you saw there?
Yeah, I do. But then I like what Brayley did when he come on. He's a genuine 9, Brayley, where Phoenix is a makeshift 9, right? He can play 7, he can play 13 and 9 now. Because you can see that with the touches where Brayley gets near the red zone. He's on the try line. He picks the right person most of the time. And that's a genuine 9 because they're looking at numbers, they're looking at shoulders getting turned in. They can see a lot of things before they pass the ball, where Phoenix will usually just probably go out the back and get to the 7 and all that kind of. Phoenix will be backs first, where a genuine 9 is middles first. You know, and that's what I can see in both. There's different types there, and I'm like, I like both. So O'Brien needs to make the right choice there because both of them are good candidates to play that 9. But I think he's going to go with Phoenix. I think he will, and he deserves it. He's fucking been working his ass off for a couple of years. This ain't just going on trial form.
Well, it's a big call because Brayley was the captain.
Yeah,
wasn't
and
he?
he come up there with some fucking
Cash. So
and cachet.
He,
Like he can
Phoenix
play.
must be training the house down, and he played for the Kiwis last
Yeah.
year. He had a huge season. But the one thing I loved yesterday about the Knights, we spoke about Fletcher Sharp and Ponga, was the way they played. They used their back rows, Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas.
Sorry, Kai Pearce-Paul. He looked good.
He was one
He
of the
looked
best
good.
on the
Yeah,
field.
100%.
But they were going back row to back row. When I say back row to back row, they were getting at the halves of the Roosters very easily.
in
We
that
changed
middle third,
directions,
yeah.
and then they were just opening it up because then you got the question, all right, well, if Kai Pearce-Paul is putting a dent over the top of Sandon Smith, do I stack the short side because you got Ponga sniffed around there, or do I go on the open? And that's what good back rowers create.
Yeah.
They make that
Damaging,
bend in the
mate.
line. And so they were both good. I think Dylan Lucas had over 100 metres, and Kai Pearce-Paul was he's that guy you give the early ball to, and he's like, as a half, how do I tackle him?
And
How
6'6".
tall?
He's 6'6",
6'6",
and he's long and
Palmy.
he's rangy and he's got footwork, and he'll separate you. He'll get distance, and that's all you want from a big guy, to get distance, move, find his front, quick play the ball. Sometimes, like some back rows, just think it's always going to be like offload here, mad footwork, make a line break, palm, all that sort of fancy shit. Yeah,
Yep.
sometimes when everything's going really well, most of the time, just getting that quick play the ball so you can split the defense, finish on that hash line or wherever your 6 wants you to get to, play the fucking ball so you can just go at the middle,
Yep.
you go down short sides, and that's what Newcastle look. They look complete.
They look good, man.
They look complete yesterday, and I was pretty happy with it. And then even if Ponga sits, just say if you get on the inside dash line, right? Ponga just sits behind the play the ball. You still got Fletcher Sharp out there who could sit behind on a block play as well. So it's fucking scary. If they get that right,
Both
be
those
hard.
guys, Ponga and Fletcher Sharp, I know we've harped on about them a lot, but it was impressive. They from skipping from A to B or B to C with ease.
Easy.
They don't
Easy.
even. It's one.
Too
It's
fast.
one skip.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was like go square hard,
Yeah.
skip off. Then you might get to B, man. It's so hard to
beautiful
defend
movers.
against.
They're so beautiful. That's
It's-
what they can do. Like, just say if they get to the middle of the field and they split it like a 5-5 split or a 6-5, like you have to work so hard for market A and B, as I said before at the start of the show. Like they just, because all I'm trying to do on Ponga is get to you if you're the 3-man.
Easy.
And then it's 3-on-2 and he's too good. So your middles they got to bring another guy over really quick because the main guy playing the ball has to play the ball lightning quick so he can catch you on the back foot. And if they do that, Ponga's going to make the right choice 9 times out of 10. He's too good. All Fletcher Sharp, Brandon Best, Lucas. Fuck. It's scary. It's a scary edge.
What's your boys? Yesterday there was an instance. Dom Young, he had a chance to score a try. He scored last year. He's scoring every day of the week.
Well, when he was at Newcastle.
When he was, do you think? I don't know, man. Even his carries, like he was a bit
Apprehensive?
He was a bit troll form yesterday. Yeah, he was. He was a bit apprehensive. Like, because there were stages where Dom Young at the Knights, you go, oh my god,
20 tries, easy. He's finishing everything.
easy. Whereas yesterday he got bundled in the touch. This is a good sign.
Last
for
year as
Newcastle.
well.
Scrambled.
Last year he was doing this, but back end. I'm not sure if he's feeling okay. Like
Yeah.
if his body's feeling banged up or he's copping some hits. I don't know because he hasn't been like the Knights kid that come from the UK.
He has the opportunity to be top 3 winger.
Easy. 6'6", quick as anyone.
Good in the
big,
air.
strong. Fucking yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I hope his body's all right because some of those plays, you don't really. If you're a middle, that's where you start getting fucking filthy.
Concern for the Roosters?
Yes, we said that at the start. Very
We'll
concerned.
move on to the next game then. Cowboys defeat the Storm 36-24.
Jeez, what the fuck is happening?
Spoon bowl.
What is happening? I saw this game. I said last week, I said Storm's going to pump the Cowboys, and Hodge said all the other way around because they were so bad that first week. Cowboys look legit. Munster and everyone played. They played. The Storm played.
Yeah, but Jerome Hughes didn't play.
Fucking over.
Or
That's-
Pappenhausen.
Yeah, okay.
That's 2 of their boys.
Okay, that'll bring it down because those 2 are so important. You got the Dalian medalist and you got the top 5 fullback.
Easy.
You know, but their forwards got handled.
Well,
Handled.
yeah, well, Utoi Kamanu, obviously, he's a big signing. It was interesting to see him start off the bench. I don't know if that's the way Bellamy's going to go because Kamikamica started with Josh King. Look, I'm not worried about Melbourne at all, but I know Craig being Craig. You say Wayne was trial. It's a trial. I don't think Craig would be like that.
No, I don't think so either. That's why I thought those from last week. He's like, "What are you guys doing? Going to come out and just wear the Storm, right? In Melbourne." I don't know. I just think the Cowboys look good. Fucking Jeremiah Nanai,
He's a freak.
legit, man. Purdue, that left edge look good. Drinkwater looks
Yeah, but he's a
magnificent.
gun. He's a gun.
They got a decent side there. Their middles look good. They looked all right, man. I thought they were going to struggle this year.
What's your thoughts, Mace, on the Cowboys? Like in general, I personally before this game, and this is just a trial. I just think they're going to struggle. I really do. They'll win some games up in North Queensland.
Yeah.
Even last year, they didn't have the greatest record at home. Even usually, when you play the Cowboys, you're going to win a couple of games just because people cannot be bothered going to
It's
North
too hot.
Queensland, They
especially in
can't
the
be
first
fucked.
fucking 10 rounds.
It's disgusting. Yeah, that's all you pray for.
Hopefully they come up. And
Well,
play
you pray
shit.
not to go first 10, but you pray to
Yeah.
go last 10 so you can go mad cow. It's the only reason you want to go. But I just don't know about the Cowboys. I love Tommy Dearden. I love Scotty Drinkwater,
Yeah.
but I just feel they lost Lukey.
Yeah.
Like, he's huge. He's
Yeah.
a huge
and
loss
they got
for them. He's
Bateman
damaging.
up there. They got Bateman up there who looks like, a couple of good moments there yesterday where he can change momentum, that guy.
In a weird way,
Yeah,
but
in a weird way because
Like
he
a
gets in
mong-
your fucking, and
like
he
he's
gets
so
in your, like when Stefano dropped the ball and a couple of plays before that, when he's involved in tackles and you make mistakes, he fucking lets you know it, right? Which you should, so you should. But typically, the North Queensland Cowboys don't. You do that to Nanai ain't going to lip you or anything
Yeah.
like that. Where
No.
Johnny Bateman, he's coming at you. He'll fucking fight you.
Yeah.
So he's brought that element in there. I just think, I think they won't be there at the end of the year. I think they look sharp yesterday. I don't know why. I just thought.
I know
Was
what
it
you
the
mean.
halfback? Who's the little halfback there?
So
The
yesterday
seven.
it was Duffy.
Duffy looked
Duffy.
all right,
He
but
beat-
it's a trial game. I don't give a shit. There are trial games here.
Did he beat Clifford to the 7 jersey boys?
I think
or
so.
was he
No.
injured?
I'm not sure.
Because
but
Clifford
they gave
didn't
it to
play.
him.
Clifford didn't play at all. So
They gave him the job,
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
which is big because Clifford took over Townsend last year.
and he played well. He got Townsend out of there.
He literally did.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So they must have big raps on Duffy.
Taumalolo to come back. That's about it for that team.
Did he get injured?
He must have.
Not sure.
'cause-
Yeah,
well, he didn't
he's in
play.
the injury
yes-
update. It's a video, so I can't watch it. But
Because you're not giving it to that young kid straight away when Clifford's got the runs on the board and he played, unless he fell out with a coach or something, which I don't think so. I'm going to go with injured, but we'll find out. But I think I didn't mind the Cowboys. I don't know. They looked all right. I'm not sure. Do you reckon it was Melbourne off point? Way
Oh, yeah.
off?
No, sorry. Peyton 6 days ago gives injury update on Taumalolo, Labert, and Clifford. So he must be injured. What'd you say? Sorry, Mace.
Like some of the tries that I saw the Cowboys score, like where you had Munster just slipping out, and a couple of just little show and goes where it's not Melbourne-esque, man. When you see a bloke slide through, and I'm like, nah, there must be an obstruction.
Inside shoulders
Yeah,
are a big
I'm like,
thing
I was
for
looking at
Melbourne.
that going, put it there, there must be an obstruction or something. No, it was just clear misreads and cues. And I was like, wow, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And Munster's had and it was from Munster and some of their key players.
They'll be
But
right.
I'm not worried about Storm at all. I think
at
the
all.
Cowboys showed glimpses of what they could be when they're on the front foot and they're playing really well. And I think that's a lot of teams. A lot of teams can look like the Cowboys in the right position.
well, that's it for this.
Is that it?
episode.
All
I
right.
think so.
Well, not a bad show, right? I'm going to get stitched out of this fucking right hand, get this back. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you, Grub. You're in here on Thursday?
Well led. I'm back.
Thanks, mate. We're back. Team Group. Team Group. Whatever.